shooter. By the way you're handling the gun, gambling you're done. Shells burn like candles in the sun. I'm not a fan of gun violence, nor having a strap, but get popped once, and I swear that you'll be scrambling for one. But our plans was to get funds and skate off the set, so I mixed the kush with the dro to make all my weight stretch. I'm from with a dudes rob and argue all day about who's the best MC, Saha Stacks and T.I. while dodging the GBI. My bad, I love GZI, but I'm still the best to ever do it, and I ain't even put a CD out. So the next time you say that I ain't got no lyricists, I just think you ain't got a taste for this exquisite shit. My verses are like Leviticus to the underprivileged. I make music for the world, you make music for a stripper bitch. Nick Black leather, parade cap era, guns at your capital, take it to that measure. It's Huey, nigga. It's Huey, nigga. Never been a victim, a rebel against the system. Lames wanna diss him and women just wanna kiss him. It's Huey, nigga. It's Huey, nigga. It's that God flow, what they nailed Jesus to the cross for. And he came back 3 days after he died flow. This Pablo, talking to kids in Chicago, mob flow. This that midget New Jersey drive flow. Side note, I wrote this rap with my eyes closed, bravo. Cause it came out clean as the Moss flow, Costco. Hoes selling they twat for a car no. Benny Hunters and Roscoe, Picasso. Knives mixed with a pop flow. Rappers can't stand me. This that Grammy knife flow. Let me stop though, cause I'm going digital with the syllables. Saha the prince and I'm royalty like residual. These hoes for me, they supposed to be hospitable. When they in the house with a nigga that's not typical, this not fictional. I run this bitch like elliptical. Can another rapper come out of Atlanta if he not lyrical? Nigga, black leather, parade cap era, guns at your capital, take it to that measure. It's Huey, nigga. It's Huey, nigga. Never been a victim, a rebel against the system. Lames wanna diss him and women just wanna kiss him. It's Huey, nigga. It's Huey, nigga.
This that shot right, for out of towners die at. I advise you book your flight now and fly back. Gangland, bang then, what you claim, fam? Box Chevys, foreigns, buck 50 flow. Young nigga got bitches at the 50 though. 50 pack done, good, drop off 50 more. My city rough, but I made it in it. Trap house look like it's what K's invented. Trust nobody, even friends, look, I hate up in it. Riding dirty with your bitch, smoking, wait a minute. LA garage with Illinois and Decatur in it. Nigga snitching, I'm like, way to win it. Nigga looking like a state defendant. Photo look like a two-door. My two-door look like a full-door. I'm cutting up, call me Zorro. Hit him in his mask, get him a body bag. Give me a track, get him a body that.
What's going on in the world, man? It's your boy Sean P in the place to be. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we're live. Peace to everybody that's in the chat. Edward was good. It's been a minute. Sue taking the building, Keenan in the building, Teddy in the building, Chavis somewhere, Donnie, I see you. Everybody else that hadn't commented yet, those of you who may stroll in a little bit late and catch the replay, peace to everybody that'll tap into that. You back at Scholar. No, I don't know nothing about that. But yeah, man. So I want to get into something today that I wasn't a part of this particular topic for a reason. I saw it and I stayed clear of it. But I want to kind of share with people how we got here. Kofi posted something the other day about some books that actually inspired him and helped him change his life, his path. He received a lot of comments on this particular post. I wouldn't know why one would receive as many comments as he did on a post. But yeah, man, yeah. We back at the Scholastic Trap, man. You know what I'm saying? We open. The Scholastic Trap house is open. We slanging proper research methodology, right? We slanging history, science, philosophy, and culture. You know what I'm saying? We got what you need over here. The Scholastic Trap House is open. But as I was saying, so Kofi was paying homage to what helped him get him on his path and on his way to where he is today. And rightfully so, right? This was a commemoration post about his journey. He was met with a little pushback. I don't know why, but he would be met with a little bit of pushback. And I want to kind of review the post with you before we move forward. So I know people are kind of straggling a little bit late, hop in and out and kind of see what we're going with, but I'm just going to get straight to it, man. If somebody miss it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well. So I apologize. I ain't signing in. It's no motherfucking Facebook. All right. Let me make my screen a little bit better for y'all to see that. Hopefully that get out of y'all way. If it don't get out of y'all way, y'all see where I'm going. So 3 days ago, Kofi, he posted this. Oh, hold up. Let me make this a little bit better for y'all to view. So hold on a second. There you go. That should be a little bit better now, right? So he says, and I'm gonna correct his, he types like he talks. We all do at times, so we're not perfect. He said, reading literally changed my life for the better. That's what he says. Now I know it says literal, but you got to remember this dude right here is country as hell. All right, English ain't his strong suit. He speak laborious isms is the language he speaks. Anyway, he said in late 2012, my worldview and my perspective changed. These are some of the books that changed my life in my beginning stages of reading between 2013 and 2015. What's good, Zane? What's good, Double R? Like the show, share the show, man. Get the people in the building, bro. We finna go in. I'm telling y'all, I'm finna get messy. It's gonna get messy. You know what I'm saying? People like this type of build. This one of them type of build. It's gonna get sticky. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is what Kofi says. He goes on to write down the 13 books that he has in front of him. As you can see from the image, he got Smash Rockwell's book, which is the Magi, the Handbook for the Conscious Community. He has Wu Jiawu's book, and Beginner's Introduction to Meta Nature. He has the destruction of Black civilization, right? Everybody know who that's by, right? Do I really got to tell y'all his name is even right there? All right, he's got When Egypt Ruled the East, Black Power, Black Man of the Nile and His Family. All right, he's got UNESCO Volume 1, Methodology in African Prehistory, Pre-Colonial Black Africa, The African Origin of Civilization, World's Great Men of Color, Introduction to African Civilization, Stolen Legacy, and Christopher Columbus, the African Holocaust. So it's got John G. Jackson, Chancellor Williams, Diop, J.A. Rogers, Dr. Ben, right? Stendorf, right? Magi and Wu. Those are the books. Now, he ends up getting 170 likes. That's a lot of people, by the way, that like a picture. He's got 40 comments and 19 shares. Why would something like this have 40 comments? Let's see. Let's make sure that we get all the comments in. So, all right, let's get all the shout outs out the way. right? We'll get rid of some of the people that's adding on, okay? And you know, he makes the comment and just to let people know that he got a gang of Takai Kilimanjaro books. All right. Now, everybody else is just talking about they got books, they got books, they got books. Everybody in agreements. Okay. Ron says, thank you, Nubian God King, for sharing this information. He's in agreements. Japeth, awesome, bro. First book I read, autobiography of Black Inventor, so forth. Here we go. Let me zoom in. Double tap my mouse. All right, my mouse just zoomed in. Be careful in your thinking, fam. This guy. Shh. Hold on. He says, be careful in your thinking, fam. Learning about history is more so a hobby and personal interest. It doesn't progress your life or improve your life. I need y'all to remember this, that reading doesn't improve your life or progress your life. But let me be more specific, because that's not what he's implying here. Learning about history doesn't improve your life or progress your life. This is why some so-called master teachers died broke. Not to be a killjoy, but real talk. I had to stop giving folk impressions that a hobby interest gonna uplift them, because I was wrong. I realized my Christian family members who are clueless about these authors ain't doing greater in life than vast majority of so-called conscious folk who be jobless and broke. It's simply an uncomfortable truth, coupled with some stuff we read over the years was actually wrong, and wrong don't help a person. So I just keep it simple and say, this my hobby and interest. Other things like business and proper employment affects your life. So I'm going to slow it down for everybody who just joined us and may be trying to figure out where I'm about to go with this. But in short, learning about your history, culture, to him, in his humble opinion, is a hobby and a personal interest. It doesn't progress life at all or improve life at all. So learning more about who you are as a person, centering yourself in that learning process, doesn't improve your life, doesn't progress your life. It is merely just a hobby and a personal interest. So Kofi responds, peace, and nah, you know, he meant nah, you're not a killjoy. These are books I read years ago which did change my life. Some of the ancestors who authored some of these books died broke. But what does that have to do with me? I am following in the footsteps in a lot of areas, and I have learned from their mistakes. And this is so-called hobby interest. I have created 3 small companies, which is growing, and a nonprofit youth program. Funny thing about the so-called conscious folks is that they don't apply the application of what they're learning, and most are not conscious at all, which just means being aware. I will never not encourage anyone to not read or slight the contribution their ancestors made. Kofi's response was directly to some of the things that was mentioned in the earlier comment. But I'm going to go a little bit further than that. Because if you don't realize who's saying what, when, where, and why, you don't know this person's intent, then you can't see the game coming from a mile away. So, just like Brother Sutek said in the chat, this is a teaching moment. The teaching moment is not for him. He's too old. He's not going to get it. He's too set in his ways. He has merely turned his learning experience into an interest and a hobby. It is merely no longer an improvement of self-awareness, consciousness, and obtaining a higher sense of awareness among his surroundings and how to kind of use what he's learning and take what he's learning, apply it so that he can use it in a way for it to benefit him in ways that would improve his life and progress his life. So, who would like a comment like Chief X? Aku Kramanti, Marcus Ayo, Bryce Anderson. We all know that Aku Kramanti and Xavier both are in anti-African groups right now, pushing a Islamic ideology over black folk, fighting between this Egyptian stuff. Okay? He's saying the black folk were never there. It's always been them Arabs. It ain't always been them Arabs, but some kind of way, they always been there. Let me move on. That's another argument. I ain't gonna have that. Let them have that on Dude Channel. He responds to Kofi. I need y'all to understand this real quick. He responds to Kofi's comment. Kofi's comment didn't yield a response because he answered it directly so that it just ended the conversation. That's why Kofi doesn't respond beyond his point. He's different than I would because I would have banged this shit up. But he says, Kofi, you can read comic books and be inspired to start a company or a youth program. That's my point. Business and proper employment changes or improves your life. It's not the book's subject matter. Example, Brother Unc can read 1,000,000 books and life be stagnant. No job or business will have you stagnant. What if your business is failing? Because you didn't have the proper wherewithal or knowledge obtained to run and operate a business to prevent it from failing. You got to read somewhere. You just can't up and say, I'm going to start a business. And then when your business start failing, you don't know why it's failing, or you don't know what you can do to improve the business. It's not like getting on the bike, falling 5 times and continuing to ride and keep trying to ride until you actually get it. It's not exactly like that. A fall off a business could hurt you for quite some time financially. Now he says, it's always about a job, work, and business that affects your pocket and life. Learning about the Shanghai Chinese dynasty would be just a hobby interest. You understand, fam? Just look at these so-called conscious dudes. 80% doing horrible in life and scared to even show their face. Proper employment or business mind, fam. That's his comment. Now, so let's break down what he's saying here. He's saying that You can read a comic book and be inspired to start a business. You can read a comic book and be inspired to start a youth program. His point is that business and employment changes and improves your life. So consciously and subconsciously, a human being with feelings and emotions and social interactions, right? If you don't have certain things fulfilled in your life, then you're short somewhere. There's going to be some type of blank that goes on. So are you telling me by grounding yourself in something that can help you with, for instance, Kofi said he used to have a real bad attitude, right? His attitude sucked. He always was snapping. And then all of a sudden, man, through his learning and being engulfed into something and learning more about himself, history, and so on and so forth, he saw a resurgence in himself, and he no longer snaps like that or loses his temperament, right? So whatever he was studying along that course gave him a sense of self, which allowed him to overcome some things that he couldn't prior to that. That improved his life, right? Then he took what he learned, applied what he learned, and then he allowed it to create avenues of income for him that improved his life. He just told you this. It's not a hobby for him. It is a part of his business. He made it his business to know and to delegate and to improve his knowledge in said fields so that he could pass that information on to others via text that he may write or publish or edit or whatever the case may be. And in return, there's a reward or a payoff for that. So this brother doesn't even read. I've been to his house. 5 books. The claim is that he had a bunch of books in the shed. Some kind of way the shed ended up, storage ended up burning down, or whatever the case may be. He lost all of his books. That's what the claim was. He said that to me when I was in Inglewood, California. During my time when I was out there in LA, I rolled up on him not once but twice. Sat in his hot ass living room, politicked with him for a minute while my brother hollered at him on another level, and then we got out of there. 5 books. And he ain't read them. Still to this day. Because there's useful information in the book. He even has the book My Eye, written by University of Kemet Press. That book is a really good book. The way that it's written, the points it's trying to make to get across, to deal with the temperament and help you restore some morals, right? And some principles that you could live by. Through reading, we can actually create that avenue for ourselves to be more morally sound and astute. But let's move on, man. Let me reshare my screen, because this new StreamYard stuff with this update just make this difficult for me. So I showed y'all that. So where I want to go. Let's go here. Yeah. Let's go with this source. This source is written by Oakland Literacy Coalition. It dropped 2022 in January last year. It said, literacy by any means necessary. The history of anti-literacy laws in the U.S. Now I just need y'all to vibe with me real quick because I'm gonna bring it all the way back around and then I'm gonna sum it up and drop it in y'all lap. Always remember, any source that I present or put on the screen, you will always have access in it, access to it in the description of the video. So this written by Carlos Maddox. It says, imagine being one of the readers seeking knowledge that reflects on your own human experience and being withheld from doing so. Unfortunately, in the United States, there was a time when certain individuals were prohibited from learning to read or write based on their skin color. Historically, Black people were not allowed to read, write, or even own a book because of anti-literacy laws. Anti-literacy laws made it illegal for enslaved and free people of color to read or write. Southern slave states enacted anti-literacy laws between 1740 and 1834, prohibiting anyone from teaching enslaved and free people of color to read or write. The purpose of this blog is to shed light on the history of anti-literacy laws that restricted Black people's access to literacy and to demonstrate the resilience of a people who use their emancipated minds to obtain literacy by any means necessary. Confederate states in the antebellum South that passed anti-literacy laws include South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Virginia, and Alabama. Due to the fear following the Stono Rebellion, the largest slave uprising in South Carolina in 1739, Blacks were prohibited from learning to read. Plantation owners feared that the literate slaves could write and use forged documents to gain their freedom. However, many of the enslaved used this method to obtain their freedom. Slave owner Hugh Auld describes this fear in this exchange with his wife, Sophia Auld, after he discovered her teaching a young Frederick Douglass how to read. He should know nothing but the will of his master and learn to obey it. As to himself, learning will do him no good, but a great deal of harm, making him disconsolate and unhappy. If you teach him how to read, he'll want to know how to write. And this accomplished, he'll be running away with himself. Let me run it back to you again and let y'all know about this time in 1739. Well, a little after that. Because remember, again, 1739, the largest slave uprising in South Carolina. Fast forward a little bit further, you have Hugh Auld describes his fear of his exchange with his wife. In his exchange with his wife, a young Frederick Douglass goes in. Now, continue. Mr. Auld, fear did not stop Douglass from learning how to read. In fact, it only inspired him to become even more fearlessly determined to learn to read and write. For Douglass, Auld's reaction was a North Star moment that led to education as a pathway to freedom. In his book, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, Douglass spoke of this incident. Whilst I was saddened by the thought of losing the aid of my kind mistress, I was gladdened by the invaluable instruction which by the merest accident I had gained from my master. Though conscious of the difficulty of learning without a teacher, I set out with high hope and a fixed purpose at whatever cost or of trouble to learn how to read. Even though his lessons with Mrs. Auld had ended, Douglass found creative ways to learn to read. I envisioned Douglass saying to himself, if you don't teach me to read directly, I will learn to read indirectly. Douglass made friends with white children in the community that taught him to read in exchange for food. He learned how to write by watching ship carpenters write the names of ship parts on timbers in the shipyard. The poet Khalil Gibran beautifully describes this resilience when he says, You may chain my hands, you may shackle my feet, you may even throw me into a dark prison, but you shall not enslave my thinking because it is free. Douglass, who became an abolitionist, outspoken orator, and author, made it his mission to obtain literacy by any means necessary. Let me get out here to a little bit more. I'm going to skip past Frederick Douglass real quick, and I want to go to Alabama anti-literacy laws and Jenny Proctor. The state of Alabama passed an anti-literacy law in the form of a slave code, which states the Alabama Slave Code of 1833 included the following law, S31. Any person who shall attempt to teach any free person of color or slave to spell, read, or write shall, upon conviction thereof by indictment, be fined in a sum of not less than $250, no more than $500. Jenny Proctor was enslaved in the state of Alabama between 1850 and 65. She did an interview with the Federal Writers Project in San Angelo, Texas in 1937. The Federal Writers Project was a collection of interviews of over 2,300 formerly enslaved Black people conducted in the 1930s. In her interview, she gives a firsthand account of her life as a slave in Alabama. Jenny started working in the fields at the age of 10. In her interview, Jenny gives her account of learning how to read, even though it was forbidden. She says, none of us was loath to see, which she means allowed, but that's how they speak, loud to see a book or try to learn. They say we get smarter than they was if we learn anything. But we slips around and gets hold of that Webster's old blueback speller and we hides it till way in the night. Then we lights a little pine torch and studies that spelling book. We learn it too. I can read some now and write a little too. Restrictions did not keep Jenny from learning how to read in the wee hours of the night. She would use Webster's old spelling book, lighting a pine torch to read the words. The Black community knows how to make a way out of no way. Our role is that of a pathfinder, forced to come up with ways to get around the unjust limitations imposed on us by those who opposed us. Despite being enslaved, Jenny refused to be defined or oppressed by her status. She was determined to learn how to read by any means necessary. On to Georgia. And Matilda Beasley. Anti-literacy laws were enacted in Georgia in 1829, which stated, and be it further enacted, that if any slave, Negro, or free person of color, or any white person shall teach any other slave, Negro, or free person of color to read, write, or either written or printed characters, the said free person of color or slave should be punished by fine and whipping, or fine of whipping at the direct discretion of the court. And if a white person so offended, he, she, or they shall be punished with a fine not exceeding $500, and imprisonment in the common jail at the discretion of the court before whom said offender is tried. Ascended to December 22nd, 1829, George R. Gilmer was the governor. Teaching people of color how to read was punishable by whippings, lashings, fines, and even death. Teaching people of color how to read was punishable by whippings, lashes, fines, and even death. You could die teaching a Black person how to read. However, Black educators in Savannah, Georgia, took profound risks to teach enslaved and free children of color how to read. Savannah is one of the oldest cities in Georgia. It is a picturesque place where oak trees are draped with Spanish moss, which provides shade from the hot Georgia sun. The Savannah River carries cool breeze while residents enjoy sweet tea on the front porch of the antebellum homes. One cannot imagine what slavery was like in this beautiful city centuries ago. The undercurrents of slavery have no respect for the people of beautiful places. Slavery still operated concurrently with a regular life. There's a story of a courageous educator named Matilda Beasley who was practically unknown in the annals of Black history. Matilda was born in New Orleans and moved to Savannah, Georgia in the 1850s. Despite the risk of fines and up to 32 lashes in public square, Matilda opened a secret school for enslaved and free children of color. Educating children of color in Savannah was Matilda's brave act against illiteracy and unjust laws. How many of y'all know Matilda Beasley? Look her up. Matilda bravely is noted, but the students should also be recognized. The color schools in Savannah were considered open secrets. Therefore, the students had to take an extra precaution to hide from the authorities. To do this, they wrapped their books in newspaper, changed their school routes, and hid in designated places if the authorities raided them. Both Matilda and her students showed bravery, courage, and the willingness to learn by any means necessary. Missouri, same thing. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm going to let y'all come back to that. I want to move the needle a little bit further, but I gave you a few examples here of something. Now I'm gonna reshare, and I'm gonna do my thing the way I need to do my thing. I just need y'all to ride with me. Now this is from the history.com. How literacy became a powerful weapon in the fight to end slavery. Following Nat Turner's rebellion of 1831, legislation to limit Black people's access to education intensified. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. It was August 21st, 1831, enslaved Virginia, Nat Turner led a bloody revolt, which changed the course of American history. The uprising in Southampton County led to the killing of an estimated 55 white people, resulting in the execution of 55 Black people and the beating of hundreds of others by white mobs. While the rebellion only lasted about 24 hours, it prompted a renewed wave of oppressive legislation prohibiting enslaved people's movement, assembly, and education. At the same time, abolitionists saw an opening for the argument that the system of slavery was untenable. Lawmakers in Virginia argued over the path to take. A vote to free slaves through gradual emancipation gained support with the state's leaders. It was a legitimate debate, says Patrick Breen, the author of Land Shall Be Deluged in Blood, A New History of Nat Turner's Revolt. It was not obvious that it wasn't going to pass. Ultimately, however, Virginia and other southern states opted to keep slavery in place and tighten control of African American lives, including their literacy. In the antebellum South, it's estimated that only 10% of the enslaved people were literate. For many enslavers, even this rate was too high. As Clarence Lassoon, a professor of political science at Howard University, notes, there was a growing belief that an educated enslaved person was a dangerous person. The 1831 revolt confirmed this view, which had been gaining steam for years. Turner was a passionate preacher guided by spiritual visions. His ability to read the Bible allowed him to find stories of divine support for fights against injustice, expressed Sarah Rowe, a professor at the University of Meredith College and creator of Nat Turner Project. Enslavers and their clergy controlled the biblical narrative among illiterate enslaved but educated Black Americans. Like Turner saw, past this sanitized version in which didn't call slavery into question. I'm not going to get too far into this, but Nat Turner's sparked a rebellion, a revolt, one of the bloodiest. Behind that, laws began to be passed through the antebellum South, tightening up on literacy because they're saying that he used the Bible, because he knew how to read. And his mind was a weapon. Y'all can get into the rest of this. It's a nice little article, heavily written. But I got more stuff that I want to kind of get across to y'all within this bill so I can tie it back. I don't want y'all to lose the point of what was said. Now remember, Learning about history is more so a hobby and a personal interest. It doesn't progress your life or improve your life. That is the statement that is made. That is the claim that is made. It's no more than a hobby or interest. Okay. Let's go here. So I'm gonna go in with this PDF and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, give you a little dose of that. Like I said, all my stuff is available to you in the description of the video. Now I made that real big, so you should be able to see this real good. This is from the Smithsonian American Art Museum. It talks about literacy as freedom. Nat Turner shows up in here. But it says here, as we look upon this young black man reading the Bible, one question that comes to mind is whether or not the subject is an enslaved person. If he is a free man in the North, it would be legal for him to read at this time in 1863. This is the image right here, just so you know. We're talking about the little black boy reading. But what if he is not free? But what if he is free black man reside in a slave state? The issue of literacy among blacks during the Civil War was a complicated one. Before 1830s, there were few restrictions of teaching slaves to read and write. After the slave revolt of Nat Turner in 1831, all slave states except Maryland, Kentucky, and Tennessee passed laws against teaching slaves to read and write. For example, in 1831 and 1832, statutes were passed in Virginia prohibiting meetings to teach free blacks to read or write and instituting a fine of $10 to $100 for teaching enslaved blacks. We already talked about the Alabama Slave Code, so we ain't got to go there. But we will go here. The following are two telling examples of slave narratives that discuss how slaves became literate. The first account is from James Fisher of Nashville, Tennessee, who relayed his story in 1843. I thought it was wise to learn to write, in case opportunity should offer to write myself a pass. I copied every scrap of writing I could find and thus learned to write a tolerable hand before I knew what the words were that I was copying. At last, I found an old man who, for the sake of money to buy whiskey, agreed to reach me the writing, teach, the writing alphabet and set up copying. I spent a good deal of time trying to improve myself, secretly, of course. One day, my mistress happened to come into my room when my materials were about, and she told her father, old Captain Davis, that I was learning to write. He replied that if I belonged to him, he would cut my right hand off. Real quick here. James Fisher of Nashville, Tennessee in 1843 said, I spent a good deal of time trying to improve myself. He was learning to read and write to do what? Improve himself. The brother is on Kofi's post and he's saying that it is a hobby, merely a hobby, an interest. It doesn't improve anything for you. But here it is for James Fisher in 1843 saying that he spent a good deal of his time trying to improve himself. So why is it for James Fisher to go out of his way to risk his life to learn to read and write, to improve himself, to whereas where we are today, where we have the ability to read and write, study and learn, and now we don't even see it as improving ourselves. Where the hell does that make sense at? Let's move on. I don't want to get stuck there. Okay, Kofi is here. So let me go back real quick. Let me share the screen before I move on with the rest of this other source. Kofi in here. Since I'm talking about Kofi, I'm gonna put it back on the screen for Kofi. So 3 days ago, Kofi did this post for those of you who came in late. 13 books, all good authors, said it taught him a lot of things. In return, he was showered with a lot of love and some comments from people who support what he's doing and appreciates the work that he's put in. However, Kofi gets one comment. This comment is from Xavier. Xavier says, "Be careful in your thinking, fam. Learning about history is more so a hobby and a personal interest. It does not progress your life or improve your life." Now, I put this back on the screen for a reason because he was specific. He said it doesn't progress your life or improve your life. That's what he said. It doesn't progress your life or improve your life. That's what he said. But here we have James Fisher of Nashville, Tennessee, in 1843, giving his account of why he was learning to read and write. He says, "I spent a good deal of time trying to improve myself." Xavier said you can't improve yourself. It's merely just a hobby. That's all it is. It's a hobby. You can't improve yourself. Tell that to James Fisher of Nashville, Tennessee in 1843 when he knew that he was sacrificing his life so that he can improve himself, because whatever it is that he needed to learn, it was to read and to write. So let me move on a little bit. Artist Eastman Johnson was an active abolitionist movement in 1860, so it is plausible that he read slave narratives and demonstrated the importance of literacy, and specifically the reading of the Bible to slaves and former slaves. One possible source Johnson might have come across was the narrative of former slaves James Curry, published in the abolitionist newspaper, The Liberator, on January 10, 1840. Curry recalls his quest to learn to read. Listen to what Curry says in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make this bigger. Listen. Whatever y'all doing right now, I need you to listen. If you can't see the screen, I need you to listen, because he's about to say something very important in here on why it was important for him to learn to read. He said, "My master's oldest son was 6 months older than I. He went to a day school, and as I had a great desire to learn to read, I prevailed upon him to teach me. My mother procured me a spelling book. Before Nat Turner's insurrection, a slave in our neighborhood might buy a spelling or hymn book, but now he cannot. I got so I could read a little. When my master found it out and forbid his son to teach me anymore. As I had to go to the start, however, I kept on reading and studying, and from that time till I came away, I always had a book somewhere about me. And if I got an opportunity, I would be reading in it. Indeed, I have a book now, which I brought all the way from North Carolina. I borrowed a hymn book and learned the hymns by heart. My uncle had a Bible, which he lent me, and I studied the scriptures. When my master's family were all gone away on the Sabbath, I used to go into the house and get down the great Bible and lie down in the piazza and read, taking care, however, to put it back before they returned. There I learned that it was contrary to reveal the will of God, that one man should hold another as a slave. I had always heard it talked among slaves that, listen closely, that we ought to not be held as slaves, that our forefathers and mothers were stolen from Africa, where they were free men and free women. But in the Bible, I learned that God hath made of one blood all nations of men to dwell in all the face of the earth. In an effort to forge a new identity after the emancipation, former slaves realized that the key to empowerment was literacy. Slaves who tended to young white children, helping to dress them and carry their books to school, watched as they grew into successful adults and witnessed firsthand the benefits of education. The lack of reading and writing capabilities was frustrating for many as it hampered the ability to do such simple things as a record to record a marriage or the birth of a child. Let me go back. The little black kids would walk with the white kids to school, holding their books. They watched them grow up and realize what they were learning in them schools, they were able to use outside of their school. There was a benefit to education. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, it was said that learning about history is more so a hobby and a personal interest. It doesn't progress your life or improve your life. This is why some so-called master teachers died broke. I'm going to go back. It doesn't progress your life or improve your life. But these children that was walking to school with these white people saw how education, by learning to read and write, elevated those children to be successful. And they yearned for that moment for themselves. Let me stop right here because I got this feeling that I knew it. This big head sleepy dude that woke up and now he here. I am joined today by Kofi Paisai, and he still got sleep in his eyes. What up, Kofi?
Nothing much, man. What's happening? Shoot, I woke up and the time I looked at my damn phone, I seen Sutek tagged in that thing, man. But he say I'm too nice. I always say I'm too nice, man. I ain't, I'm not an adversarial type of person, man. And when he came on the post, you know what I'm saying? He didn't. I didn't feel like he was disrespectful. I just greeted the brother with kindness, and explained to him because he missed my post. I never did tell people, okay, they got to read these books in order for them to change their life. I just said how these books changed my life. It changed my worldview, and it changed my perspective. And I understand. And let him know I understand. He has an issue with some of the authors in those books, and I agree. Right, it don't have nothing to do with nothing, but I agree that he said that they died broke. And I asked him what that has to do with me. That doesn't have nothing to do with me. But even with even with a lot of the great scholars that shoulders that we stand on may have died of that, but we have learned from those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? We can correct those mistakes,
That was their sacrifice for us.
Right. And I told him that
hold on, but think about this. You're saying that they died broke, but these same people was up and in and up out of the United States, all over Africa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which take resources.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they might not have they might have died. But what if they died spending all their dollars on trying to go back and forth to Africa?
Well,
books, because they both possess libraries. Well, they all possess libraries,
right?
But still, that don't even matter. How could you claim that it doesn't improve your life, and it's just merely a hobby? When people sacrifice their lives to improve their lives by learning to read and write.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I wasn't gonna go back forward with him about that, because I know that reading and writing will change people's lives. That's why I told him, I'm never not gonna not encourage anybody to read, and I'm never gonna slight the ancestors of these authors, you know what I'm saying, for their contributions. I'll never do that. He responded back, but you know, I didn't respond
Yeah.
back. I responded back because, you know, it's always been some stuff said. I just ignore them because, you know, I ain't no, it's, you know, that's just a waste of time arguing with people when people already got their mind made up about different things. But I don't understand too that and not to talk about the brother, you know what I'm saying, but I understand he a lot of no stuff, you know what I'm saying. You're presenting stuff. I'm quite sure he don't know anything about this information about that you present. I get you. I bet you he don't know a whole lot about the Negro, American Negro Academy. He may not know nothing about those individuals.
You sound like a robot.
Young black. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you a little bit, but you breaking up like every word. You ain't in your office, bro, so it don't work with being in your office.
Hold on. I see. Hold on. I'm
You
gonna
look like
cop
you
out and
work
pop right back in. Nah, hell no. I just came in the damn room right here.
He took himself out, y'all. He'll pop right back in here, but it's absolutely the point. Now I got a couple of more sources that I'm gonna knock down, but I want Kofi to get his viewpoint out, and so everybody can know. You know what I'm saying? So Kofi back.
Damn, I done remove him. My bad, bro. I done remove you. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was just saying, I mean, you know, when you look at 12 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, we had a group of men that came together, and their main focus was to learn a high education. Their main thing was to read, to write, write journals, right? So this ideology, the Talented 10 ideology, right? This ideology changed a lot of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And this ideology was to learn higher education, then go back and share this higher education in the community, which made quality, you know, which they believe made you know, quality men and women, you know, made exceptional men and women, made intelligent men and women. They believe that through reading and writing and education, it would change the dynamics of everybody's lives. And it did. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to argue with him when we can go down through the historical record. We ain't just got to talk about the American talent. The American Negro Academy. You know, we can go further on down after American Negro Academy, how it expired other people. You know what I'm saying? Later on in the 20s, in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 60s, and it's still influencing people up to 2023. We still talking about the Negro, American Negro Academy. We still talking about Carter G. Woodson. Everybody's been talking about Carter G. Woodson, who was a part of the American Negro Academy. We're still talking about W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a part of the American Negro Academy. Schomburg, who was a part of the American Negro Academy. Paul Dunbar, who was a part of the American Negro Academy. Jonathan Smith, who was a part. We still talking about a lot of these great men and a lot of things that they did and the things that they believe in when it came to reading and writing. So I mean, I just ignored you know, the things that he's talking about because he don't understand it. How can you tell me that these books that I read didn't influence me? It did influence me. It influenced me and it shaped me to be, it shaped me to be a better man. I'll be honest with you. It shaped me to be a better man. You know, it shaped me to be a more productive person. It shaped me to be more caring, you know, to be more selfless, you know what I'm saying, to think about we instead of thinking about I. So those books did change my life. And then those things that they did, I took away a lot of things from Dr. Ben, the book that I posted, Black Man on the Nile, that I read in 2013. I took away a lot of things from John Henry Clark, a lot of things from John G. Jackson, a lot of those things that they got. I'm taking those, and some of those aspects I'm taking on right now, and it's working for me. You know what I'm saying? It's taking from it, it's working for me. You know, and without reading some of those things, I wouldn't have been able to believe in myself. I'll take a chance on myself anyway. I spend all my money on an ideal if I have to. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that has, and those ideals is not specifically for me. It's an ideal to do something in the community. It's for me to make some money, but also facilitate a service for the community that might help the community. So I don't know what the hell the man talking about. I wasn't finna go back and forth and argue with him, but I just wanted to respond to him and let him know that I'm not gonna slight not now one of those authors in those books and the contribution that they made. You know what I'm saying? And they did change my life. That's what I asked, what that has to do with me, because you saying they died, bro. What they got to do with me? You know, what they got to do with, you know, encouraging people to read and write. That's what's wrong. I feel like right now is we don't have a lot of people right now that's reading and writing. I feel like we had more, and I could be wrong. I feel like we got more intelligent. We had more intelligent men in 1891, more intelligent men in 1921, more intelligent men in 1951. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us now have got away from reading and writing. We don't think we need it. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's a hobby. It can't change your life. It can't change the dynamics in your life and your family life and in your community. So I don't know what the hell, you know, he's talking about, you know. And with this show, I appreciate you doing this show, but at some point, man, we got to start giving people, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of shine, you know what I'm saying, or even making them feel like they doing something, because, you know, we doing a show. That's what he like. He like when people respond to some of the stuff that he talk about. He like when Unc respond. He love this type of stuff. I'm not
because his second comment, people Unc into the equation. But now the motivation behind the show was to take the ignorance and make it a teaching moment using the ignorance. Because if you go back, we really don't talk much about slave codes and the literacy laws. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to not only show the power of what he calls a hobby, right? Show how what he calls a hobby did improve lives, did move people forward, and people benefited from learning to read and write, and how they applied that knowledge to help themselves get to where they, you know, get to where they needed to go, which broke open the floodgates for us to be here today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If slavery was still in full effect and nobody was reading and writing like it, and the literacy laws were able to prevail, bro, where the hell would we be? We would be even further behind.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So, you know, I just felt like, all right, I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to talk about the efforts of people and what they went through. So that's why I used the examples, the few. I know you came on a little bit late, but the few examples that I have, and I still got a couple of more, but of people talking about their sacrifices and how it improved their lives and how they recognize the importance of it. Like the last example was me stating that the little kids was holding the white kids' books. And then they would see them grow up and go on and do better things because they saw that institution provided an opportunity for them to be able to go on and do more. And they wanted that for themselves and for their children. And that is the biggest element of improvement. The biggest element of progression and improvement. doesn't just because you know. Let's take for instance, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, very knowledgeable, wrote books, moved the needle, liberated, but they liberated African minds.
They did.
They made hella sacrifices. They made those sacrifices, willed themselves to fight a battle that they did not have to fight, but through inspiration from people that came before them, like the Schomburgs and so forth, the Crummels and so forth, everybody that was a part of that bigger movement, it allowed them to illustrate a path to say, hey, we want the hearts and minds of our people. We get them up out of this. They'll be able to apply the things that we've learned to their daily lives to help them be able to go a step further.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a hobby. Obtaining knowledge is a skill set that can help you improve your livelihood. You made the wrong comment on your post. Now that what his comment would be more useful to somebody that's all they do is see how far they can piss.
Mm-hmm. And he made the comment. It's crazy because I had got up early this morning. I had to go out of town, and so I had wished Unc a happy birthday, and he called me or whatever, and I had just I said, well, no, I'm not gonna reply. But then I said, no, I'm just gonna reply, but I'm still gonna greet the brother with respect. And I'm gonna tell I'm just gonna, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get off, So I text and I was on the phone. Then he come back and he said something, about Unc. So I guess he made an example about a person who reads for a hobby, can read 100 books. And this person can still be stagnant. At the end of the day, it's about money. It's about business. It's not about reading. Reading is a hobby. But I mean, even with that in the that's a contradiction within itself too. When you look at it too, he went to school. You know what I'm saying? And even with what he's into, he had to sit down and learn. He had to sit down and read about what markets is what he can sell, whatever it is that he's selling. He had to sit down and read, read about the various products, what's in these products, what's the ingredients in the products, is there some side effects, what's the benefits of these side effects, how to get this business or whatever off the ground. So he had to read. So him making that statement, that's why I just said I'm not gonna come in back, because he's already contradicting himself. Because even at the end of the day, when he's saying that it's about money, people, even people that's successful, at some point they had to sit down and put in some hours, man, to study and read about the things that they're interested in. I mean, you just not going, if it's all about money and being successful, you're not just going to be successful overnight if you're not researching and you're not studying. So what he did, so that's why I said I'm not going to go back and forward. I'm not going to go back and forward. I could have, when he responded, I could have went back and forth, but that's just not me. I'm not going to go back and respond, because what you saying, you're already contradicting yourself already, man. But yeah, go ahead, man. I don't want to stop you there.
No. You good, because you adding to the understanding of how you giving your perspective on how you perceive the message, which would be different than how we may see it. But this right here is from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and it speaks directly to what the point is. So I want to show y'all this just to give you an example of how powerful it is. By history is learning history and then applying it, using it as a tool to help you make corrections, and even in your personal lives. But it says African Americans fought slavery and inequality in ways large and small, from open rebellion to subtle acts of resistance, using connections, family, neighbors, worship services, and formal political conventions. African Americans shared news, created networks, and developed strategies for making a way out of no way. State and local governments responded with black codes and slave codes, race-based laws that attempted to restrict black lives. African American persistence and grassroots organizing still serve as a model of social activists today. So we're looking at section 3 of this particular article. There's 5 sections, and this one talks about illegal read. All right, and in this section right here, section 3, there's a quote from a North Carolina slave code of 1831. Whereas the teacher of slaves to read and write has tendency to produce insurrection and rebellion, any free person who shall hereafter teach or attempt to teach any slave within this state to read or write shall be liable to indictment. States and territories restricting African American education: Connecticut, Georgia, Missouri, Mississippi, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Virginia. Let's continue. So then it goes on to talk education, right? African Americans connected freedom with education for many practical reasons. A person who could write could compose a pass permitting visit to family. A literate person could pick up a newspaper and let people know about national slavery debates and rebellions. Words mattered. They carried information and seeds of hope. Sermons, speeches, songs, and written word connected African Americans and built political consciousness. In the North and West, many states refused to fund Black education and refused to admit Black students to public schools. Some enslaved African Americans attended secret schools operated by Black educators. Adults raised money for schools and teachers, sometimes through churches or Black-owned institutions. One of the first Black schools was New York Free African School, founded in 1787. Almost a century later, the African American School in Gay Head was established. That's Gay Head, Massachusetts, art right there. We already talked about Frederick Douglass. I'm not going to go there. All of this is in the museum, by the way. Right? So you go there. But look what it says right here. Liberation in what? Literacy. Attending school in Philadelphia, Hannah Lyons copied down her math, history, and poetry lessons in this notebook. Her family saved it as a proof that they were some educated Black people way back then. This is the notebook right here, and it's got the notes. And that's Hannah A. Lyons' school copybook from 1831. That's a primary right there. So let me add to it real quick, Kofi, and I'm going to bring you right back in here. This new shell method for me, boy, messed me all the way up. I ain't even gonna lie. All right, so here go my other source, and then we're gonna get back into the combo. So anti-literacy laws, there were laws against teaching Blacks to read. We all know this. I don't want to sound like a dead horse, I'm repeating myself over and over, but I'm gonna let y'all get into the specifics of these particular sources. There is, however, this that I wanted to show y'all. Now, in this, it talks about anti-literacy laws and how anti-literacy laws are related to black-white achievement gaps. This is the key right here. It says, it is not a coincidence or even a surprise that Black students experience gaps in academic outcomes, giving the history of forced enslavement and forced illiteracy experienced by Black people in this country. If you want to understand why there's an achievement gap, you have to be honest and look at legal and enforced slave codes, anti-literacy laws, and actions of influences determined to preserve their way of life.
The so-called achievement gap. Many of you who have followed me in the past, you know that I am consistently and constantly speaking about the achievement gap, the Black-white achievement gap specifically. And I am one who advocates that in order for us to speak about an achievement gap, we must first look at the history of how the achievement gap was created in the first place, because it didn't just fall out of the sky onto Black children. There was something very sinister that took place in the history of this country, including and involving enslavement, that made those things happen. So if we're going to be sincere and actually talk about solutions, we cannot discuss achievement gaps, disparity, inequity without actually looking at the history. Because if we allow history to be our teacher, then we will not continue to make the same mistakes. The problem that we're having in education in this society is that we are allowing the past to be unspoken as if though it never happened. And it continues to flavor and color the present. So I want to reach back into time and I want you to go with me. I'm going to make this real quick and real short because I know some of you, your attention span is not what it should be. And that is a problem that needs to be addressed by individuals, because you can't help sustain change if you can't pay attention. More on that in another video.
Kofi. Kofi.
What's that?
What you think about what she just said?
I mean, shit, that's powerful. Powerful. Run it back again, man, for people that didn't listen to it, man.
Present. So I want to reach back into time and I want you to go with me. I'm going to make this real quick and real short because I know some of you, your attention span is not what it should be. And that is a problem that needs to be addressed by individuals, because you can't help sustain change if you can't pay attention. More on that in another video.
You cannot sustain change if you cannot pay attention.
To flavor.
My bad. Go ahead, Cole.
No, I was just saying, man, that's powerful, man. That's gonna kind of go over people's heads, man. And that's something, you know, that we dealing with, man, right now, man. And we've been dealing with, I say, for maybe the last, I'm gonna say the last 5 years, is the attention span. I believe the attention spans is getting worse and worse. So everybody wants stuff at an instant. They want it, and in nanoseconds, man. You know what I'm saying? So nobody is looking at. We can't create a do a lecture anymore. Let's say like Dr. Ben or John Henry Clark or any of those other AC Hilliard, who would do lectures, and most of us we'll go on and we'll look at it. It's an hour and a half. We'll look at it, we'll pay attention. You know what I'm saying? We'll learn, we'll take away something, take away the lesson from it, or etc. Now, nobody is gonna go and watch a full video and pay attention the whole entire time. They're gonna pick up their phone, they're gonna go to talking to somebody else. The TV's gonna be on, they're gonna be looking at TV, they're not gonna pay attention, and that's what's winning right now is what's the name put in. He says, I know he's playing Ogun Bola. He says the ends don't need books no more. We got TikTok and we got YouTube facts. And that's where a lot of people going. They going and looking at these books. Going to look at these TikTok videos, and they're learning from these TikTok videos, which is 2 to 3 or 4 minutes, because the attention span right now is at a 2 to 5 minimum. After 5 minutes, we all over the place, man. So, and even in school, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that, this is just my opinion. I believe that the internet is a gift and it's a curse. Smartphones is a gift, and a curse,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it has created an era of babies who attention spans is no more than 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because everything right now, everybody want things at instant gratification, man, at instant gratification. And it has created a space where people don't want to read no more. Like for real, no one wants to read anymore. If I want to learn something, I'm gonna go on TikTok or I'm gonna go on YouTube and I'll listen to somebody talk as long as they smart, as long as they sound like they know what they talking about. And as long as the video is not over five, not over 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I just believe that the internet, is a gift and a curse, and it has birthed. We have birthed the era of low attention span individuals.
Mm. All right. Let's see what she's saying here, because this is important.
And color the present. So I want to reach back into time and I want you to go with me. I'm going to make this real quick and real short because I know some of you, your attention span is not what it should be. And that is a problem that needs to be addressed by individuals because you can't help sustain change if you can't pay attention. More on that in another video. But I want to talk to you today about this quote that appeared in the November 9th, 1867 edition of Harper's Weekly. That was a very popular uh, newspaper or magazine. It was a newspaper. It wasn't a magazine, I think. I think now it's a magazine. But it was a print media that came out. I think it started coming out in like the 1840s, but don't quote me on that. But certainly, this particular quote appeared in the November 9th, 1867 edition of Harper's Weekly in an article titled Education in the Southern States. Now, I am going to read that article, not in this video, but in another video for anyone who is interested. You will be able to find the link to my reading of that article, which is very interesting, in the description box. So make sure you take some time to listen to that, to have the endurance to find out what are the things that were happening in the society then in the 1800s and the 19th century that are still shaping how we do business, how we engage, how we interact with one another in the 21st century. So look for that and take some time to listen to that. But the quote is this: the alphabet is an abolitionist. If you would keep a people enslaved, refuse to teach them to read. Again, the quote that appeared in the November 9th, 1867 edition of Harper's Weekly says, the alphabet is an abolitionist. If you would keep a people enslaved, refuse to teach them to read. Now let's take a quick look at that quote. And that's very powerful. If you know anything about language and symbolism, that's a very powerful statement, but it's also a very telling statement on what the plan was for the enslaved. And then once freed Black people, the plan was in place for what was going to be their progress or lack thereof. So let's take a quick look at how pivotal role, I should say, the suppression of education has played in the progress of Black people. And it was all planned and paid for by white supremacists who stuck to their code of do only for self. Now, some of you may be familiar with what we call anti-literacy laws. And if you're not, I'm going to be producing some videos that will help you to become aware and learned and knowledgeable about these topics, again, because they all have to do with what's occurring today in our school systems. They all have to do with the progress or lack thereof that the Black student is making. They all have to do with why we have an achievement gap in the first place. So the anti-literacy laws were actually extensions of the infamous slave codes. And if you know anything about the slave codes and the anti-literacy laws, you know that they govern so many different activities involving enslaved interactions in their lives with other enslaved or even with non-slave owning citizens. Now, they were a natural extension of the slave code system because it prevented the enslaved Black population from learning how to read in any form. Now, let me add a little caveat to that. I want you to understand that there were some enslaved people who could read, of course. There was a great push among many of the Christian people at that time to allow the enslaved to be converted or to be saved, if you will. And in order for them to be converted and or saved, to receive that salvation, they had to be able to recite certain religious teachings in order to demonstrate their faith. So there was very little difficulty initially for slave masters and owners to allow some of their enslaved people to learn from the Bible. So the Bible was a great source of reading material for many enslaved people because that was the sign of the time. So there were some enslaved people who were able to recite certain passages in the Bible. If you think about Nat Turner, if you read anything about him or seen any documentaries or movies, you know that he was able to read and that he was used as a preacher to other Black people, and he went to different plantations reciting and teaching scripture to them. But of course, the scripture that they were being taught, now this is key, the scripture that they were allowed to read and learn about had to do with the holiness or the permission. That's probably the wrong word. It had to do with the fact that Black people were supposed to be enslaved, and scripture was used to promote that amongst the slave owners, of course, who used it to justify their actions, but also they used it to justify why they were subjugating Black people. So I can do some more on that too, if you like. If you would like to know more about that, about the role that Christianity played in the continual enslavement of Black people, just let me know in the comments section. But in any case, I just wanted to point that out to you, that there were also other enslaved people on the plantation who may have been allowed to get a basic reading and a basic math function so that they would be able to help run business on the plantation. So just be aware of that. Of course, we know the overwhelming majority of the enslaved people were not readers. They were illiterate, and they weren't allowed to read or write. Now, ingenious as we are as Black people, we know that we will find a way where there is no way. And there were many enslaved people who, would trick others, particularly white children, into teaching them some form of the alphabet. Or they may have had a mistress who felt that she would look good amongst her peers if she had some of her enslaved people to read. But that really is neither here nor there. I just wanted to point out to you that fact. But again, the overwhelming majority of the enslaved Black population were prevented from learning how to read in any form. And of course, this is important for obvious reasons. If you make it illegal for Black people to learn to read and write, then you reinforce the notion that was going on around that time, and for some people in this time, that the Black people were inferior to white people. So if you can read as a white person and I can't read, then you can use that to suggest that there is some inferiority between you and I if you are a white supremacist, that is. Now, in the antebellum South, literacy was a sign of intellectual development, and it potentially meant that you could be upwardly socially mobile, that you could change your condition if you were able to read and write. The fact is that many white Southerners themselves were illiterate. And I have a whole conversation about that, which you'll hear about when you click on that link to that article in the Harper's Weekly magazine, because that in fact is addressed and it's quite interesting. So make sure you check that out. Yes, many white Southerners were illiterate. So it was very important. It was very, very important for Black people to be prevented from learning to read in order to maintain that myth of white supremacy. So if many of the white Southerners were illiterate and you had enslaved Africans who could read, that would make them what? Perhaps more intelligent than their white counterparts. That was certainly the fear that promoted the idea of these anti-literacy laws that I'm referring to. Okay. So it had to be that way in the minds of those white supremacists to prevent the Black people from learning to read so that they can maintain the myth of that white supremacy. Now, learning to read could give the enslaved access to important information, okay, that could help them to stand up and organize a rebellion, but also to help themselves get free, okay? Because if you could read and you could write, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about writing in just a second, then you could read incoming mail that was coming in for your master. You could read signs to help direct your way. You could, most importantly, write a pass for yourself and any other enslaved person that looked legitimate. Remember, I said that most of the Southerners were illiterate. So even if you had the patty rollers or patrollers who were out checking to make sure that Black people who were off of the plantation had their passes or they had their papers that they were free, they couldn't read. But if you knew how to write a pass, it certainly looked legitimate, and then you could escape. And in fact, there are some former enslaved people during the time that's exactly how they got away, because they could read and write and they were able to forge a pass. So obviously that was a difficulty. But I think that one of the things that's most overlooked in this discussion of why it was important for white Southerners who were in power and leadership to prevent Black people from reading is the fact that during that time in the 19th centuries, in the 19th century, not centuries, excuse me, there was a lot of abolitionist materials and articles and pamphlets and literature that was coming out. And they were afraid that if they had enslaved people who could read, that may cause them to question, wait a minute, why am I here enslaved when it's more of me than it is of you? Wait a minute, these people who are abolitionists are saying that it is my right as a human being to be free. I'm listening to what they're saying. So they were afraid that would incite courage. If, for lack of a better word, they were afraid that it would incite the enslaved to get back in touch with their God-given humanity, their God-given intuition to know this is not the condition that I'm supposed to be in. So they were very fearful of allowing Black people to have the ability to read. So all of the news of recent slave insurrections and arguments against slavery as an institution were of particular concern. So it was around that time, particularly, there was, some incidents that took place that really pushed this. But different states came out with their different anti-literacy laws and their slave codes. But I would say probably around the time of Nat Turner's slave rebellion of 1831, you see a lot of states after that slave rebellion coming out with anti-literacy laws. And again, I'm going to look specifically at different states to provide you with a picture of what happened in that state and how it's related to what's going on now. For example, Mississippi. I have done videos and I have written about Mississippi, which has one of the worst systems for educating Black people in this country. I wouldn't say that it's the worst. It certainly comes close. And no disrespect to if you live in Mississippi, I'm just
Kofi, how you feel about that? You live in Mississippi.
I can't argue with her. I mean, she's actually correct. And I mean, over the years, people have, I've been very vocal calling the school system the food system, man. It's very, she's right. I mean, I had issues and problems. And matter of fact, that we talking about this, Carter G. Wilson. I read Miseducation of a Negro. And that book changed my perspective and the worldview on the schools and how they teaching Black children in the school, right? And and me starting to look and be hands-on with my son when he was, going to a school in Woodland, man, and me going in and sit in the classes and watching, and even just in me experiencing that my education experience in the South wasn't, was terrible, man. It was bad. We had outdated books. I don't know. I don't know about now because I hadn't said in one of my son classes in shoot maybe about 4 or 5 years, but I know even when I was going to his school, you know, he had outdated books. You know what I'm saying? We had outdated books. We was behind. We was always behind the learning curves and everybody else because we didn't have the funding that a lot of other places may have. But I know other black areas and other states probably went through the same thing for their school not being funded or having enough funds to buy new books or buy computers or whatever the case may be. So I mean, she's very correct, man, on that. She's definitely accurate on that, man. And I wish my school experience would have been, you know, be better. Even if you look at the test scores, if anybody can Google the test scores and even though I got an issue with these state scores or these testings that they do, blacks are always a low. It ain't just low, but I ain't gonna say black, just Mississippi in general. When it comes to state testing, we is always on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to those state tests, when it comes to academics and things like that. Because again, like I said, man, we behind the curve. You know, nobody is funding these educational institutions in order for this state to get the proper education that it needs.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna let her wrap up.
Just simply stating the facts. And there's a reason for that. And it has to do with these anti-literacy laws. But even for Mississippi, it goes back to their slave code laws on all the things that they forbade the enslaved to do, trying to maintain white supremacy and doing so even after emancipation, all up into the Jim Crow laws, all through segregation, even now. In the 20th century, not now, the 21st century is now, but in the 20th and 21st century, being forced to desegregate, being forced to acknowledge that there is a separate system of education, the lawsuits that have been taking place. I did a article and I think I did a video about a lawsuit that was filed on behalf of some parents in Mississippi. So I just wanted to give you just a little tidbit. I don't want to, go too far because I can go on and I can talk and talk and talk. But the problem is that I can talk, but people have not necessarily developed their focus skills. So in this day of social media where it's quick, people want something that's quick. But I have to just let you know, if you are serious about being informed and transforming the world, you're going to have to take some time to read, to digest, to discuss. And that's not going to happen in 5 seconds. It's not going to happen in 5 minutes. So I just wanted to start with that quote. Please check back with me because I'm going to have different videos on this subject matter of anti-literacy laws and slave codes and how they're related to the achievement gap that we still see Black students experiencing today. It's very important that you are informed about the history so that you can make a step towards making a difference in the present. And our children, our Black children, need us to step in for them, because every time you turn on the news, you see another story about something that's going on as it relates to the inequity that Black students are experiencing. And it's not a coincidence. It's not just, one-time occurrence. Is something that you see all across the country. And if you are truly serious about advocating for the achievement and the academic success of Black students, you have to start with the history of how Black students and Black people were not only educated, but how they were treated in this country. So I thank you for taking the time to listen to this. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and most.
All right. So what you say about that, Kofi? Do you think that the literacy laws of the past also play or relate to the Black-white achievement gap?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, I see a lot of that's going on, right now. You know, when it comes to those black codes that was enforced, those literacy laws that was enforced. Damn, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to say something before you had go. Yeah, who is this sister? Who is this sister?
Okay. Her source is in the description of the video, but let me get back to my source. Minimize. I'm trying to get back in the source, bro. Acting like I don't want to. All right, there you go. Boom. So, in this article that she wrote, or contributors, he don't say her name on here. He don't say her name. Okay.
What's the channel? What was the channel that you were looking at?
On to the channel. It was on the blog, but the name of the channel is the Reimagine Schools. So I'm gonna share my screen so everybody can see. This is her YouTube page. She only got 28 subscribers. And usually people that don't have a lot of subscribers got what? Some good information on their stuff. Right? She got stuff people don't want to hear. So I believe it's a charge with a felony for being a mama. What? So there's some topics that she actually deal with. She's been doing this 5 years ago, bro. So she really ain't broke big. I think this video right here though, probably the most viewed video that she has because it's attached to an article in regards to it. The alphabet abolitionist. Remember she said that, right?
Yeah.
On that.
Because she mentioned, that's why I asked, because she mentioned a lot of stuff in there that it kind of sparked my interest, man. I want to go check the sister channel out, man, and look at some of the stuff that she talked about in that video. And I wanted to see if she had anything else on the South, especially Mississippi.
Yeah, it don't look too much like it. Look like she faded away with not much traction. More proof black students to discipline more harshly. I mean, she focuses on some stuff. Let's see if she got some lives. No lives. Nah, not much, bro.
Yeah, I see.
You do that to some people though,
Yeah, she probably got this,
Let's see what Facebook do. Maybe she got something on Facebook.
Yeah. It's easy though, when you got a message and you trying to do something and then it's not taking off the way you want to take off. I mean, you got to understand something, which I'm gonna stop saying that because I don't hardly look at YouTube anymore. But there are some people on YouTube who are truly for the people and who are truly trying to liberate the minds of African American people. And that's not with the antics and the WWF battles or back and forth and trying to lit boy and little son each other, but and trying to be entertaining. These people are being not compromising who they are just to get some views. You know what I'm saying? So there are people on YouTube like that. You got some people are successful, then you got a lot of people, like you say, there's don't have a lot of views, but when you go on their channel, or don't have a lot of subscribers, I would say, I wouldn't say a lot of views, they just don't have a lot of subscribers. When you go click on their channels, man, they got some great information, on their channels, but it's not picking up because it's not what everybody is looking for. It's not a thing of us tearing each other down, you know what I'm saying, in the name of information, of gang banging, information across each other, where we gotta assault each other and tear each other down and get personal because someone is not necessarily agreeing with what agreeing with our views and our perspective, man. I'm gonna subscribe to a channel, even though she hadn't posted nothing in the last 5 or 6 years, man. But
Let get a notification.
maybe she'll get a notification, because it can be discouraging, man, when you literally trying to do something. You have a passion for sharing information, and you're literally trying to educate some people on things that's not being educated, but it's not being received like you want it to be received. So you say, hey, well, I'll just go, I'll fade off into the knife. Nobody respecting the information. Because a lot of people think, man, when we get on here and do stuff, man, we make it look easy. We get on here and we have discussions, or we put together lectures. People think that it's easy, but a lot of times people don't know that shit. It takes time for us to put these lectures. When I mean time, we may have to read several or 8 sources. We may have to come out of our pocket and buy a couple of books, you know what I'm saying, to go in depth on subject matters. And then when we put it all together and we may have spent a whole week, 2 weeks, or we might spend 2 or 3 months on trying to put something together. And then when we finally put all this of what we learned together within an hour or 2 hour span, and we present it to the people, it looks easy, but it can be discouraging because people don't know, what I'm saying, what we had to do in order to get this information. I had to go spend $60. I had to go subscribe to this journal site just to get this type of information. I had to make a call over here long distance that charged me such and such to make this call. You know what I'm saying? I had to talk to a few people to get a favor to do this, to make sure that this was actually right by somebody who actually is in this field, or who actually studied this, or who actually practiced this certain type of thing, man. And when you put it all together and it's not received right, I mean, it can be very discouraging for people. Well, hey, look, I'm doing all this work and I'm not doing it just for myself. I'm doing that to present it for people, you know what I'm saying, to edify my people, to notify my people, for my people to become aware. And when I do these things, you know what I'm saying, nobody is receiving it, but I can click over somewhere else where it may be a little learning going on, but majority of the little piece of information that I got, the 4 hours, it's just a back and forth with people just stroking their egos. I'm really not learning nothing. And you know what I'm saying, they insulting each other, you know what I'm saying, instead of building each other up or trying to come to some type of common ground to get somebody some understanding on something, on it. So I mean, I feel the sister. I hate that she stopped abruptly, all that, abruptly like that, because she had maybe about 8 videos on the
platform. She had about 16, 17 videos.
Oh, was it many? Okay.
Yeah, about 16, 17. But they all from 4 and 5 years ago.
Yeah. Damn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, her video is attached to an article that's written in AmazingBlackHistory.com website by John Abercrombie, and it was from 2020. So he attached that video. He also attached another video that talks about the legacy of anti-literacy laws regarding a sister named Lacey Robinson, and I'm gonna show that real quick, and then I'm gonna bring it. What I want to do is just bring it back to the point of how we got to be careful with what some people say.
1847, Missouri prohibited teaching blacks to read or to write. Yes, this is history, but I'm here to tell you that this history has a legacy, and this legacy has legs, and those legs walk into your school. And they predict your practices and your policies and your beliefs around building literacy for children of color. Our founding fathers held and perpetuated the belief that the Africans were an inferior race. And they perpetuated that belief that their intelligence would never be equated to whites, particularly the whites that held them captive. But you know what? In every concrete, there's a rose. And in my research, I discovered that in the 1700s and 1800s, most, if not all, the Africans that were enslaved, those that were allowed to learn to read and write, they used a method that required the learner to spend long hours memorizing the alphabet, and then columns of vowels and consonants and double letters and 2 syllables called easy syllables. And they practiced those sounds, bay, bee, bye, bo, boo, up to 6-syllable words. And they kept saying them aloud, forwards and back again. And after memorizing those letters and sounds and symbols, the learner connected it to a text. But then there were other Africans that were enslaved, that lived in states that had anti-literacy laws, that granted them permission to rotely memorize biblical passages through oral repetition, never giving them an opportunity to actually hold the text in their hand and to track the words they were reading. Does this sound familiar? And I'm gonna step on some toes here, but I'm gonna reveal to you my truth. In this walk in education, I have moved in and out of schoolhouses where we have debated, do we teach phonics or do we hold them in shared reading and get them to memorize passages? And memorizing the passages will teach them the words, and teaching them the words will tell them the story. Even though research says that in order to be a fluent reader, you have to know the code. And so I ask you, why do you withhold the code from some children? Why are you sitting in schoolhouses that are still grappling with whether or not you should teach the code? Maybe it's because you're swimming in the anti-literacy laws. And so I ask you, why do we debate and make decisions about children's lives and decide whether or not they come out as readers to make ourselves feel good? Because my historic hero, Frederick Douglass, taught me that once you learn to read, you will forever be free. I hear Frederick Douglass crying out to me that the freedom lies in their literacy. And yet, we want to say that that is old news. Oh, it is. In Gary B. versus Snyder, that happened this year, the class action suit filed against the state of Michigan using the 14th Amendment. They stated that students who attend 5 of Detroit's lowest performing schools are receiving an education so inferior and so underfunded that it is as that they are not attending school at all. And let me remind you what that 14th Amendment tells us. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life or liberty. Well, if freedom lies in literacy, and students are walking into buildings that are not giving them the opportunity to become fluent readers, where is their liberty?
Oh, she dropped that quick. Sheesh.
I like it.
She got an hour lecture. They just got a snippet of her lecture, but Justice in Detail is called. It's called Justice in Detail, Lacey Robinson and Brandon White. And where she delivers it and goes into more detail. I don't know if anybody interested in that, but it's on Unbound EDU. And I'm gonna give to the chat so people can get the full context of that lecture.
Yeah, what she say that the states are swimming in anti-literacy laws, and she could be right. I mean, that's that. You know, I just mentioned And she just mentioned in Michigan, because I said it could probably be in other places too. I just know that the education experience that I had, and even the school that my son was going to 5 or 6 years ago, I mean, it was underfunded. I mean, outdated books, man, outdated information, man. So, and even, with that, a lot of those, just here, we were taught by, we had black teachers, but we had more white teachers than we had black teachers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, Dr. Kimfu, who you put me on, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that too. If you don't love a student, you know what I'm saying, you ain't gonna teach the student, man. Or if you don't understand the student, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna be able to teach the student, man. So, and but anyway, man, I think she hit it, dead on, man, with that, man. Like I'm saying, underfunded, and she could be right that Mississippi is still swimming in those codes, still swimming in those anti-literacy laws where they're not gonna fund these schools or give it the proper funding that it need, you know what I'm saying, so the students can get the proper education that their needs. And like I said, man, you look at our state, man, we is the lowest on the totem pole, man. So
yeah, it's messed up. But it just goes to what's going on with the state in its totality, because I was listening to Roland Martin, and he had the mayor of Jackson on, and you know what I mean, he was talking about trials and tribulations that they faced at that time. And what they're facing right now. He said they went all the way to the president, to Congress, to get something done, and now the Republicans want the money that the mayor went and got approved for.
Wow.
What he
How long has it been?
This happened just recently.
Yeah.
That man said on Roland Martin show, he said, bro, we went all the way to Washington. Him and a few other body members went up there to try to get something done because they couldn't get nothing done through the governor. Lo and behold, Biden approves and get them funding to take care of what they needed to get done, and now the governor want every penny of it.
That's crazy, man.
So instead of fixing the water, you know what I'm saying, the water issues, the roads, and trying to keep control of the airport in Jackson, which is a battle because they want the hospital, they want that land where the football stadium is, and they want the airport from Jackson. They want to control both of them. But he was talking about, and I find this funny, but he was talking about how they're trying to create a district where these white people live at. It's just one segregated area in Jackson where the white people live at.
North Jackson. You go to North Jackson, you go up to North Jackson.
You know. But do you know that they're trying to pass legislation for a presiding judge to preside over anything related to North Jackson specifically?
I can believe it. I can believe it, man. And that's crazy. And then the only thing he gonna do is they gonna take that money and dump it in those areas that you talk. The only thing that I can say where it's not that nice and where they might put some money at, or you saying trying to be control over, and that's the football field, the football stadium. Because when you go, that's downtown Jackson. When you go down in downtown Jackson, now you start talking. You see where the school at. You done been to the school. You done been to the university. The university is in the hood. Even though it's not as bad as it used to be, you can go over there to Jackson State and you can get robbed. You can go, you can go to, go across from the school, go to, over in that area to one of those stores and pull up at a gas station and go in, and you come back, your car gone. You can pull up at a stoplight down that area. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still, that's the hood area. So when you start going toward North Jackson, this is the nice area, a rural area where the white folks at, where the police are patrol more. The roads, where you talk about the man talking about keeping the roads, the roads you go through South Jackson, you go through East Jackson, you're gonna tear your car up. They ain't studying about fixing the roads. That's why when I go there, I hate driving my car with I got rims on my car. You'll tear your car up going through there. You'll tear your car up. The roads is terrible down through there. And the crime is high because there's not enough. They don't patrol those areas like they patrol in North Jackson. You go through North Jackson and play if you want to. Them folks gonna pull you over in a minute. And they expanding. Like when you go there where they continuously expanding out there in North Jackson, I can believe every word of what you're saying. I can believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah, let me see if I can I gotta go on my history to pull it up. But I found it quite interesting, man, and it was something that it kind of took me back a little bit.
Yeah, if you look at some of those schools, bro, just drive through and look through at some of those schools in the area, man. You will see how some of those schools are in bad conditions, man, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, look at some of the scores of those schools, man. It's terrible, bro. And the only reason why the Jackson State, if you went to Jackson State 10 years ago, man, Jackson State was a Jackson State. You wouldn't want to take, you would drive through there if you didn't know anything about Jackson State and say, okay, well, Jackson State got a university. You drive through there and you look at Jackson State. Jackson State was in bad condition. You go on campus on Jackson State, you got graffiti on the wall. You got trash. You got trash on the ground, man. I mean, Jackson State was bad, but if it wasn't for the sports, you know what I'm saying, and them getting money for the sport, getting money for sports, and then even when Dion got there, Dion kind of changed the dynamics of the school, where the school was starting to get more money and more funding or whatever. But if it wasn't for sports, man, Jackson State, man, will still be looking like some of the schools over there, man. Run down. And at one point, bro, you people saying that they went to Jackson State. You got people, I know people that I grew up with went to Jackson State, families went to Jackson State. But a lot of people want to say, hey, I went to Jackson State because of the condition Jackson State was in and the area that Jackson State was in, and the perception of Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? This is where all the black folks go to, all the aggressive thuggish black folks going to this university in this impoverished area. Because at one point, man, you can drive when you going down and you turn it off 55 and or 49 and you going down toward Jackson State, man, you will see, man, so much poverty stuff over, especially homeless people. You don't see as much, man, but Jackson State used to have, I mean, you would think you in, I never just rode around California. I ain't been in California but once, but I mean, looking on TV, you see how everywhere that you drive in certain areas, you will see people living up under the bridges. You know what I'm saying? Homeless people standing at the, sitting at the bus stops. You know what I'm saying? In front of store properties. Jackson was just like that, man. Jackson was just like that at one time, and those places were South Jackson, Southeast Jackson, East Jackson, you know what I'm saying? And then when you start going up toward, the Memphis way, you'll still start, North Jackson, you will start to see how it changed. You would think you're not even in Jackson no more. I mean, it's still like that. I mean, they expanded in Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Because majority of the people that stay in North Jackson, you got black folks that stay in North Jackson, don't get me wrong, but majority of the people that's in North Jackson is white folks. That's why they police it the way they police it. That's why they expanding the way they expanded. That's why they continuously dumping money over in that area and neglecting the area over there besides the Jackson State University over there, because it's bringing money into this. It's bringing money into Jackson.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But man, but just think about that though. If you know, just knowing what you know right there, like you talk, which goes back to the point of why you need to be reading and studying and knowing these things, because look how that affects your reality. Now, how can you counter that? You don't know how to counter that unless you've been put in a position or you study the situation to where this has happened somewhere else, and you know how to counter or maneuver in that type of a situation through experience or someone else's experience, quote unquote, reality. So this, you know, this is why we do what we do, to improve our well-being, so that we don't continue to make the same mistakes of the past. I thought that's what the studying and learning and researching was for, to correct the mistakes of the past and move our people forward. So now it's like, well, nah, that's your hobby. That's just an interest that you have. That ain't gonna do nothing for you, man, by studying and doing all of that. It's not gonna really solve nothing for you. It ain't gonna improve you as a person. Like, that's like the dumbest shit. Because if you found, no matter which book it was or books it was that grounded you, gave you some type of purpose and a pathway for you to move forward in life and improve yourself as a person first, and then other areas in your life blossom behind the improvement of self, how the hell you can say that ain't the key? Right? Because they always been saying knowledge is power. They didn't say knowledge is a hobby.
Oh, you just gave me an idea, so.
What's that?
You say, you know, they always say that knowledge is power. Knowledge, you ain't never heard knowledge is a hobby. Yeah. I just don't try to, you know, make something, man. Knowledge is not a hobby, man, and maybe go in full detail behind knowledge is not. Maybe print up some shirts or something, man. I don't know. Do something.
That'll work. Knowledge is not a hobby.
Knowledge is not a hobby. I might work on that the night. But you know, with that, and I know a lot of people that commented on that thread. I know that what he said didn't affect them. It's not going to affect them one way or another. They're going to continue, because there were a lot of people in there was saying that, you know, they read some of those books, you know what I'm saying? Or they need to get some of those those books. So, I mean, I know they're not paying them no attention, man. And like I said, I just wasn't going to give him, you know, I commented that one time, but I knew, you know what I'm saying, even with what he said, it was a contradictory in what he was saying. And I understand people will speak out of ignorance, and I'm not talking about the brother, but I mean, we all ignorant in some capacity. I ain't breaking up, am I, Sean?
Nah, you good.
Okay, because I see my dang, what's the name, was getting my bars on my internet was getting low, man. Trash. And AT&T is garbage, bro. And it is. I've been trying to leave AT&T, but I stay in the country, and AT&T is the owner of that internet service, man. That internet provider that'll come out. You gotta come out here, man. So, but I'm finna do something else, not right now. But they got some new internet, man. I had to buy the own satellite and put the satellite up myself, and they say this stuff here is a beast, man. But yeah, man. But like I said, man, I just didn't pay the man no attention, man. And a lot of, you know, I know he was speaking out of ignorance on certain things, and he was speaking out of bias on certain things, and he was speaking out of anger, you know, on certain things. So a lot of stuff I know we come from, because I know he has he has an issue with some of those people that I post, some of those authors I posted for various reasons. You know, he have issues with, and he can, you know, he can have that. I mean, and I'm not gonna say
I ain't buying it.
He
got no issue, bro. How? What issue did he have that he's addressing?
He may have some issues. One of the issues is, they died. That I know they died. They died poor, but I know he spoke ill will of
What
Dr.
they got to do
Ben.
with him though?
That's right.
That didn't impact his life negative.
Right.
It told him what not to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That should have meant you take this knowledge and you apply this knowledge to the benefits of your family.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand, even with him that may have some issues with some of those authors. We have to, like why I said I never slight those authors who wrote those books. Do I disagree with some of the information in the book? Yes, I do. Now I do, but I understand why. So when I go back and I look in the book and I understand, okay, man, well, damn, Dr. Ben wrote this book in 1930. Such and such wrote this book in 1970. Right. So I understand, where the world was at that point of time. I understand that certain resources didn't come available until 2000 and 2000 and so forth. So they did what, they wrote with whatever access to information that they had at the time. It was no such thing as the internet. You know what I'm saying? Where information was at their fingertips, or they could, go on a YouTube. No such thing as YouTube where they can go look at some people that may have expired them, that may have did lectures where they can sit down and jot down stuff. There was no Amazon. There was no Books and Millions, Barnes and Noble. There was not a lot of access to books. So they began to provide that access for us by traveling, by building relationships with people, traveling to countries to try to get the natural resources themselves, or talk to the people, you know what I'm saying, to put their hands on certain things, to build relationships with people outside of America, as well as in America and other and various other places, and come back and write about the things that they're learning, to write about the things that they learned when they went to these institutions. And they was only following the format of those who came before them, the individuals that we named earlier. That's why I give a lot of credit and credence to the American Negro Academy, and those black men, and even those women that we don't even talk a whole lot about, what they call the talented 10 women that I talked about in the past, and how they believed that education was freedom. Education would liberate the circumstances of the black man and black woman in America. You know what I'm saying? They understood that knowledge, was power. Knowledge wasn't a hobby. Knowledge wasn't a hobby. You know what I'm saying? So, I just, like I said, man, I just, I ain't, I didn't want to give it too much energy, but like I said, I appreciate you coming on and doing a build and sharing. And you did share some stuff from Literacy of Freedom, didn't you? The Smithsonian American Art Museum.
Yeah.
That's what you, okay. Yeah.
Everything all my stuff in the description.
Okay, yeah, because I had pulled something up on that while you was while one of the videos were playing or whatever. I had thought about that. So let me.
This was Sutek. I meant to show him who the author, the first article that I was reading. I think he wanted to see that. So there you go, Sutek. That's who wrote the first article. His sister here, she wrote it. She from Maryland, an educator and a poet. And look, she's the author of 4 children's books and one novel. There you go, Kofi.
Check out. Who you talking about, Sutek? Sutek, and I'm mad he debated. Oh, so I didn't know the man debated Ishmael Bey and used all wiki. Oh, okay.
Oh, y'all remember what he did there? He did debate Ishmael Bey with Wikipedia.
Wow. You start with Wikipedia, but you don't end with Wikipedia. Wow.
He had a bunch of wiki tabs.
Okay. Do we even buy? Do we even buy? I know he's not an advocate reader. I know he's not that. But do we even buy books?
He bought a Saw book, but you know he ain't read that because he's trying to argue with a Saw with a little Egypt stuff. That's why he got a problem with Dr. Ben. He had about 5 books when I met him when I was in Inglewood.
Oh, he stayed in Inglewood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sutek ain't even know. Yeah, but I sure didn't know he was a name.
Oh, yeah. So you know that was, yeah. He did that when we was arguing back and forth in the back chat.
Yeah, because y'all sure been working over that LeBron versus Jordan. Y'all been doing that about 2 weeks, ain't you?
Dominique Wilkins came out and said something too.
What'd he say?
He said people need to stop this. He said the closest thing to the GOAT is Kobe. He didn't say LeBron. He said LeBron is great, but Kobe the closest thing to the GOAT. I ain't agree with you. LeBron isn't. No, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you on nothing. Y'all keep arguing about LeBron about what he should have been because of his size and athleticism. Y'all seeing that as bruh's physically gifted. At his size, he's able to do a multitude of things, but he wasn't dominating in those spaces. Wasn't dominating in those spaces. Y'all keep man. If he had, y'all keep doing that. If he had the killer instinct like Mike, yeah. If he had the killer instinct like Mike, no question, he'd be the GOAT. He ain't got it. I ain't gonna argue about that. I know here this nigga go.
Where Chav is at with it? Where is he with
He's
it?
non-basketball playing ass. I ain't got no opinion.
Oh, yeah, because I know I seen him comment maybe a few times, but I know most of the thread you and
he comment to argue against me. Whatever the argument is, whatever side I'm on, he on the opposing side.
Or the opposing side.
He on the opposing side because he needs a partner. He needs a group of people to attack me. Because it don't go well for him by itself. We be arguing for hey. So everybody listening to this live stream, we literally been arguing about everything. We've been arguing about everything for the last 2 months. We've been in the back chat going back and forth for 2 months about it don't matter what the topic is. We just been attacking it. We done talked about people who do rap. We done talked about the basketball stuff. We done talked about punk ass Houston being the police now. The whole city of Houston. We done said.
So get Chavis started. You know how sensitive. Anytime you mention anything about Houston or Texas, you know Chavis gets sensitive, get his feelings.
Man, we've been going at it like, boy, it's been funny too. I'm like, man, and look, what's sad is that I go to sleep and then I wake up. Chavis had argued with Sutek, but now Sutek sleep, but Chavis is still up. For whatever reason, Chavis don't be sleep. He be pulling the Kofi. I'll comment at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Soon as I commented in, I put the phone down, Chavis responding. So now we arguing from 7 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, back and forth, the whole day. Then Sutek wake up. Now he up. Now Sutek in the argument. And we've been doing that shit for like 3 months. I ain't even lying. That's been the schedule. And the central piece in all the arguments is Chambers, man. That nigga bad for us, man. We need to kick him out. Look, September right now, because September like, damn, he just look at his phone. And if he see like 70 or 80 comments, he don't even look at the chat. He'll just hop in there real quick and hop back out. But if it's like 5, then he might say something and comment then because it's a light day. That mean ain't nothing going on. He can say something. But other than that, he just be sitting there reading us going back and forth and don't be saying shit. Man, we gonna argue about something else. Couple of days. Right now, we really ain't arguing about nothing. We're about to argue Don Trip and Don Trip and Key Glock. But we all listening to Key Glock album. Look,
I don't like him that much, man.
You don't like who? Key Glock?
I don't really like Key Glock, man.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I ain't
like
never.
Sauce Walker.
Hell yeah, I like Sauce Walker, man.
Bullshit.
Man, Key Glock is so you saying Key Glock is better than Sauce Walker?
I don't listen to that nigga.
Right now, just finna ask,
Not a
have
song,
you
feature,
gave
nothing.
him a chance? Have you just gave him a chance? And
Never.
I didn't like the man at first, but how can I
wearing Borex, bro? I'm not giving no nigga wearing Borex no motherfucking chain. You don't get the hell out of here with them Borex in your head like a little girl.
That man ain't wear no damn Borex.
Man, that nigga got motherfucking neon flavored shit in his head. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I ain't doing that.
I'm gonna put a poll up.
I don't care about the poll.
Key Glock. Who is better, Key Glock or no? I'm gonna put a poll up. Who is more lyrical, Key Glock or Sauce Walker? He gonna win with a landslide, bro. You gonna win with a landslide. Who gonna win with a landslide? Sauce Walker, the Sauce God.
How, bro? Who?
The Sauce God.
Who?
The Sauce God.
Shit.
I'll tell you. Travis say Key Glock straight though. He trashed to me. I ain't never liked him, bro. Never liked it.
You hate no Key Glock, bro.
Key Glock is trash, man. And he probably got more attraction now. More people paying attention to him now because they trying to see, what is he gonna be?
Hold on, I'm finna you. Hold on. I ain't finna let you do him like this,
bro.
Bro. I ain't finna let you do him like this.
Man.
You got messed up, bro. 30 seconds. I got YouTube timed. I got your time, YouTube. Talk to Coker, Chief. He don't know nothing, man.
Nah, you listen to him now because
No.
Paper out 5 years.
I don't listen to Key Glock, dog.
Yeah.
Cause the lot for me, nigga. It's a family, not a gang. And not a gang. Sick of niggas trying to throw dirt on my name. Drinking my cup, no Kurt Cobain. Yeah, Glock be the name, and you never gon' bang. I made me some millions, they think I'm unchained. Hey, fuck this thing, man, fuck these chains. Made packs disappear like David Blaine. These bitches be all on my dang-a-lane. I just bought a new blue pinky ring. My heart code is icebox. Number 1 rule, get that money, man. I got this shit from Dolph. It ain't no shame.
I'm gonna give you right there, man. I ain't gotta give you no more.
Hey, I ain't mad with you neither. I ain't mad with you neither, man. I don't know, man. I ain't never. I done tried to give him a chance, man. I just
Look what Sutek said. Kofi putting dirt on his name. That's why Sean played this song.
oh man, he all right, man. I ain't gonna listen to him. I done tried to listen to him before. I ain't gonna. I bought, but I listened to one of the CDs he had with all his yellow vehicles. I think all his cars were yellow on. I don't know what the name of that CD was. It was a few songs.
That was the last album.
Yes, it was some. It was some of the
Yellow Tape 2.
Yeah, Yellow Tape 2. That's what it was. Yeah. Let's get with it, man. You can't get with the Sauce God, man. Sauce God, man. And I guarantee, bro, if you get that man a chance, you gonna like him too, bro.
Straight,
you gonna like him.
Straight, bro. I ain't messing with nobody that wear bow wrists, bro.
The Sauce God.
You call him whatever you want, call him, bro.
Sauce Delafonte.
You be all that silly Houston shit.
Oh man. Lit B. Who said hold up, Kofi used to listen to I did. You trying to make a joke, but I did. I used to listen to Lit B. I used to listen to Lit B because the groupie was weird. Look at that goes Sutek. Oh, there you go. Here, you go ahead, man. You trying to pop him in? I'm popping him out of there.
COVID didn't want you in here, bro.
I know his ass don't. That's why I can't. I ain't got nothing to say. I just came here to piss Kobe off.
I'm good, dog. Ain't nothing you can say go piss me off. Yeah.
Now I'll listen to that. I ain't hip to him.
Oh, Key Glock.
Yeah, I ain't hip to him.
Yeah. You know that's Sauce. I mean not Sauce, but Dolph Lee cousin. You ain't never listened to what was the name of the album? Dumb and Dumber. That's when I think I first got knew who he was. Him and Dolph put out the first project together. What is it, Dumb and Dumber, Sean?
You know.
I wasn't listening to Dolph like that for real.
Are you? I ain't listened to Dolph like that over the years, but when he first come out, I was a Dolph head, man. When he first come out, his first couple of tapes he put out, you know what I'm saying? I was on it. Even Lip got a little bit more successful, but like a lot of the other stuff, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, he didn't sound like the old Young Dolph music that I used to listen to, the one with the two-door Cadillac with the rims on, because he used to drive them clean ass Lacks and shit all the time, and two-door Lacks and shit, and sell weed, because Dolph was a weed man at one time. A lot of people don't know Dolph was the weed man, the weed plug. Then he went into then he started doing music or whatever. But I wasn't really the last few years. I wasn't on Dolph like that though.
That's how 2 Chainz was. He was a loud man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then blew up. Hell, I don't even like 2 Chainz like that no more. I used to be on 2 Chainz, when especially when they was. I really didn't pay him no attention till he got with, they put the group out Player Circle. You know what I'm saying? Him and Dollar Boy. And then Dollar Boy faded out the scene, and Titty Boy, you know what I'm saying, kind of exploded after that, you know what I'm saying? And I was lit checking for him. Now, man, these last couple of projects he been putting out, to me, it's trash to me. The flow he done kind of simplified the flow a little bit. He got a few little punchlines here and there, but I don't know. I ain't on like that no more. I don't know. Maybe I think once they get all that money and get too successful, man, I guess they feel like they don't have to work as hard on the craft no more. I don't know. Or maybe 2 Chainz trying to do what Lil Wayne doing, punching in. He ain't got it right. He need to go back to writing. If he punching in, he need to go back to writing. If punching in and out, man, ain't gonna get it, bro. You say Kofi wants artists to stay.
Lil Wayne new song hard.
What's the name of it? Cause he done kind of become trash. I don't even be checking. I used to check for anything Lil Wayne was dropping. Now, man, I ain't checking for none of that shit, man.
I don't check for it either, man. But this one hard. Carter 6. This is the way you start Carter 6, though.
Yeah.
Can't nobody. I'm gonna give you a little snippet of it, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no strikes. I don't want no more Vlad. Can't let Vlad give me no more. Watch Louise will take
cheese, crackers, Sargento, yum,
like mixtape
cheese and Ritz, cheese and Triscuit, cheese and Muffins, cheese, real natural cheese. Now with your favorite crackers.
Loving what you do and doing what you do with the pure enjoyment of knowing that you're the best at what you do. Okay. Yo, couldn't nobody fuck with me then? Couldn't nobody fuck with me now, yo? Can't be serious, yo. Can't nobody, no fucking body fuck with me with this rap shit, yo. Check it. I've been spitting for 20 years.
Sometimes I smile to hide the miles of my road travel. Shake my hand, it felt like you just touched the stove handle. Holy cow, fuck the cow, I want the whole cattle. Gucci buffs on my eyes look like solar panels. Leaving bitches on their own like the Oprah channel. Can't trust my shadow, that's a fact that can't get overshadowed. Draco sounding like it's coughing from the smoking barrel.
That's all I'm gonna give y'all, bro. That's all I can give y'all. 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look at it, man, and check it out, man. He didn't got it.
He leaving bitches like Oprah.
He kind of weird. He a weirdo with me now, man. I don't know, man. That man a weirdo. I don't know.
Hey, Kofi, you know what I was thinking? I was like, if let's see, if
When he said Wayne before his dreads started looking like chicken tenders.
Hey, nah, listen though. I said 1999 Wayne saw 2022 Wayne. He'd look at that nigga like he was crazy.
So wouldn't
it? I agree with that.
Yeah, sure would.
That nigga skateboard and all kind of shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he
like, even not even 1999 Wayne, because he wasn't even that old. But you could just say like Squad Up Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, when he was Squad Up Wayne, he was tearing shit up.
Mm-hmm.
He'd look at this little Wayne like this nigga look like a clown.
The show do look like a clown, man. I don't know. I don't even be checking for him. Like I see his name on certain people's stuff, man. I don't give a damn. I stroll right on past. I don't even give it a listen. You know, but I give him that the God did song, man. Now he kind of went off on that one. He kind of went off.
Everybody, bro, I just heard that song for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
For real?
That nigga Jay-Z, bro.
He went green eggs on him.
Bro, like, I'm like, when is he gonna stop? He went for like 4-5 minutes straight.
Yeah, he got the longest verse on there.
Bro, I went back. He went for literally 4 minutes. Non-stop. No chorus, nothing. Straight bars.
Like the song was his song featuring them niggas.
But did you listen to what he was saying in there though?
Yeah, he was cooking.
He's telling all real shit. I'm like, I had to go back and play it again. Like, damn, this nigga said some heat. Well, Wayne said some heat too, though, but Jake's over.
Yeah, he snapped on that though. He snapped on that. I said I gave it to him. He snapped on that.
I ain't gonna lie though, like Wayne, like he do look goofy, but his bars are still top tier though. He still say all the hottest shit.
I think where he lose me is that he used a lot of, auto tune, like what Sean just played. I can listen to that because it's him. It ain't all that goddamn auto tune, and he ain't trying to harmonize and sing with that shit, man. That's where he be losing me at, man. And to me, it just take away the whole. It take away take away his bars to me, man. So I don't be want to listen to that. I don't be want to listen to that shit, man. You always trying to damn sing with that shit, man.
What did you do, Coffee?
Trying to sing with that shit, man. I can't listen to it, bro. When I go to hearing it, I just skip it. I skip it. But I don't even check for him like that no more, man. Like if I see him his name on somebody, featured on somebody's song, I don't even check it. I use it with damn. Okay, let me check it out. Let me see what Wayne talking about on here. Kofi hating on Pimp C, homie. I ain't hating on no Pimp C, man.
What Kofi said about Pimp C? Now I will
about. Nah, you know, bro. I'm from the South, bro.
Oh,
I'm from the South. The first ever group that I ever heard of and had a cassette tape.
Kofi Hayden
was Pimp C. And Tell Me Something Good. I had a whole tape with the song Tell Me Something Good on repeat. Every song on that tape. Turn the light back on. On the front A and on side B. That was my anthem song. And this was like when they was first coming in the game and they was getting notarized. They would Tell Me Something Good. So I've been an underground king, fan or whatever you want to call it, a Pimp C. I even remember when Pimp C was a solo artist and he was running around with K Reno. A lot of people don't know about K Reno and Point Blank. Man, he was signed to that record label over there. I can't think of the name of the record label. But people who watching, go check out Point Blank and go check out K Reno.
Point Blank, my guy, man.
Who?
I went blank.
It's hard to think where I go
blank. Yeah, man. I fuck with Point Blank, man.
Yeah, Point Blank.
He's from Chicago, though.
Oh, is he really from Chicago?
I swear, man, I need to just move to Texas because I can blend right on in. Yeah, man. He actually he said in his song though. He said in one of his songs.
Yeah.
I forget which one it was, but he said something like I got my slang from Chicago. But he moved to Texas though when he was like in his teenage years or like 19 or some shit. He moved to Texas sometime around there. But he said it all in one of his songs. It's been so long since I heard it.
Yeah, the 90s. That's I was on in the early 90s on Point Blank and K Reno and damn, what's the other bright skinny cat? 3-2. You remember 3-2?
Mr. 3-2, yeah, man.
3-2.
Right.
Yeah, old 3-2. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was on them. I was on that Houston, man. Like I said, I'm from the South. And what was in heavy rotation was 8 Ball and MJG, the Ghetto Boys, and Underground Kings. Those were the top tier groups down here in the South, in the South. That was in heavy rotation. So shoot them. And to me, those are like when you talk about the top, they're in my top 5 when you talk about groups of all time, even going up to current day. UGK, 8 Ball and MJG, the Ghetto Boys, Outkast, and I'm gonna throw Field Mob in there. A lot of people may not know about Field Mob, but I'm gonna throw Field Mob in there. You know what I'm saying?
Texas?
I'm just saying my top
okay.
rap groups. Yeah.
Said
how the fuck is Field Mob in your top rap group?
Yeah, you tripping.
Field Mob?
How you gonna go over Outkast? How you gonna go over?
No, I did say Outkast. I said UGK. I said Ghetto Boys.
Yeah.
I said Underground Kings.
You already said UGK.
Oh yeah, well Outkast, and Field Mob.
How? You ain't even got Ball and G.
I did say 8 Ball and MJG.
I ain't hear that shit.
Yeah, I said it.
You know this again, bro. You fucked up.
So hold on a minute. You got Field Mob. I know this is South list, but like you got Field Mob over Wu-Tang.
Yes.
What? Name me 5 Field Mob songs right now.
No, yeah.
Hold on, I'm finna name.
He ain't got 6 songs.
No, he said 5.
I said 5.
He ain't got
Okay.
5.
Like, come on, bro.
All I know,
This
Georgia,
all CD.
Georgia. From the Rudy
Everybody
to
knows
the
you're
Tootie,
gonna say Georgia, bro.
from the Rudy to the Tootie. I've been Poe. We've been Poe. That's how it is in the field, for real. I don't know the name of the song, but it's called. It was one of their first breakout songs. I'ma have me a big nice cat. House on a hill with my mama and my pappy. Hair still nappy. So I don't know that song. I can't remember
I'm
the name.
not saying Phil Mob is weak, right? They not top 5, bro.
Hell no, man.
Bro, they I'm gonna tell you, bro, they is so lyrical, man.
They better than Cain and
is.
Abel?
Huh?
They better than Cain and Abel?
Hell, you talking about Cain and Abel from Ragnarok? Huh?
Cain and Abel, No Limit Cain and Abel.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Two Live Crew?
Hell yeah.
Nah, man.
Everything. He said, I'm with Kofi.
Yeah, he a motherfucking
That's
lie.
one person. You gotta have somebody with you. Shit.
Shoot.
Somebody gotta fall off the bridge with you, but
Right.
hey, somebody going.
And he only falling off to try to save your ass.
But I ain't saying Wu-Tang weak. I'm just giving my 5. I'm gonna say they in the top. They in the top 10. They in the top 10.
Who?
Wu-Tang in my top 10, but my top 5.
So they better than. Hold on, wait a minute. So they better than NWA.
Come on, man.
Like I can just keep naming.
Lyrically,
Run DMC, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone, they better than Bone, bruh. You better.
lyrically, yes.
No,
yes.
what?
No, bro.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Have y'all? I'm go back. I want y'all to go back and listen
Naughty
to
by
all
Nature.
3 of their CDs.
The Locks. Eric
I'm not
B.
even
and
gonna say
Rakim.
Listen,
Onyx.
he can't look. Kofi, listen to me. Do not say they better than the Locks. Please don't do that, bruh.
Ooh,
The Dogtown.
Field Mob.
Those are you naming? They're in the top 10, but they.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. So
no.
listen to me real quick. We could just stay right at the Locks. Listen, who are they? Like they not even like. Who are they better than on the Locks?
They better. They better than what his damn name is. Ain't hard on. What's the big one name?
Oh, bro, they not weak.
Sheik Luke.
No, bro. No. Listen, I knew you was gonna say that, bro. Listen, I can name you 10. I can name you 10 Sheik Luke songs that will smash any Field Mob song you play, bro.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
I like Sheik Luke. I like the Locks. One of my favorite rappers is Styles P out of New York. Styles P is one of my favorite New York rappers.
Kofi,
Styles P. That
tripping,
don't get a lot of credit.
Kofi,
they better than Public Enemy?
Who?
Field Mob.
Shit. I like Public Enemy, but I'm looking at lyrics. I'm going by lyrics alone.
Bro, if you going by lyrics, they not better than the Locks.
Man, they ain't better than Cypress Hill, bro.
Name me a song.
What?
They ain't better than A Tribe Called Quest. You talking about lyrics?
Man, come on.
Kofi, man, I'm about to wake my kids up. Kofi, gotta stop. You sound like Vasa right now. You been drinking that Vasa juice, man. That nigga said, what's his name? What's the rapper's name he was liking? Where's Sutek at when I need?
Oh, you talking about from California?
Yeah, man.
Sugar free.
Sugar free. That's like saying sugar free in your top 5, bro.
Nah, I wasn't sugar free.
Sugar free shit.
Yeah, bro. That's like saying sugar free in your
Vasa
top 5.
was tripping, bro. He was tripping.
That's
Vasa,
how you sound right now, Kofi. Saying they can even fuck with the Locks, bro.
Bro, I think they'll give them a run for their money, bro. I think they better than lyric, bar for bar. I think they would, bro.
What about Dipset?
Man, they're smashing. The only lyrical person over there was Jules Santana, and old boy that used to be with them. What's the writer boy? Writer.
Okay. Now you getting the little points right now because I was gonna say J.R. Ryder the hardest over there.
J.R. Ryder. Those were the two that I say that had lyrics and bars and people was checking for when to hear what they had to say. Now what won the people over with the Dipset was the fashion. It was the fashion that won them over. It was Killer Cam with the pink. It was Jules Santana and what's his damn name?
Man, I done dropped it once, man. Why you ain't come up in here, bro?
Yeah. And Jim Jones with the fashion. You know what I'm saying? With the scarf, the bandanas, the belt chains.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm talking about bars though, like
but I'm just saying that's why a lot of people
make me play a song to show you how garbage Field Mob is.
Bro,
they ain't got no time as music.
I don't do it, Sean, because you gotta probably play one he ain't talking about. You gotta play a song he talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear what I like Field Mob though, but I'm telling you, bro, on that CD they had, it was always
timeless. I mean, I listened to Field Mob. I don't know if I had that CD. Oh no, I ain't had that CD. I mean, I liked them when Ludacris was on the song because I knew it would be good if he was on there.
They had like 2 or 3 songs that I could vibe to for real. Like I like them,
bro. They first CD, bro. You can just first CD, bro. You can just put it in and bro and ride. Now, the second CD, I agree with you. It was a few songs on there, but they were snapping on each one of the songs. Then when they signed to Ludacris, shoot, that whole CD was jamming like a bee. That mud was jamming.
It was only jamming in Mississippi.
Bro, come on, bro.
It wasn't jamming nowhere else, boy.
So you saying that you saying that they didn't have Smoke and Sean P they didn't have no type of bars or lyrics. They didn't have no punchlines. They didn't have no metaphors. That's what you're saying.
No, I said top five type of like everything that you just said, right? But top 5, they're not there. Top 5.
So where would you place them? If you just say the top, would they fit in the top 20? Would they fit in the top 20? Your top 20.
Listen, Kofi, I'm clear with it. They are not on the list.
God damn, you a hater. You just hate right
They are not on my list.
You hate.
I like them.
Not in the top 10, Kofi. It's way, man. A whole bunch of old school rappers come before them niggas.
I'm not putting them on my list at all.
Play the one with CeeLo. Play that one with CeeLo. Find the one with CeeLo. CeeLo, Field Mob, featuring CeeLo.
Sick of Being Lonely. That was the main hit.
Man, play the one with CeeLo. Find the one with CeeLo. Sick of Being Lonely was one of them. Georgia was one of them. That song right there with T.I. they got that was jamming.
I played Sick of Being Lonely back like a year or two ago, and I like this shit sound. It didn't sound as good as it did back then. Like they
shit ain't age.
Yeah, they shit ain't timeless. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
look at Martin Luther King with the do-rag on. Martin with the do-rag on. Hating too. Look at Martin with the do-rag.
This you, Kofi Luther King.
Listen to these guys, bro.
I came up in the hood infested with teenage hustlers, street grinders, paper chasing, scraping puffs. I keep it dust up noses and paint. So they can when they ride candy paint just like the man. That's Steve trying not to bite his hand, but they need him to keep from life where they stand. Every night prayer, but prayers go as far as the ceiling. Got me feeling like I'm from all this heart that I'm dealing in all of this liquor hoeing, rubber and goose necking that I do but don't want to. Got me losing blessings. God said he'll take the next 2 steps till I take the third. I did.
Yeah, that one it.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, well, my ears starting to bleed. Not on my list. They are not on there. Like, listen, hold on, listen. Play that song, Tribe Called Quest, Yoke the Joker. Like, the shit he says on that song is timeless, bruh. You mean to tell me that shit Phil Mob fucking with? Are you serious?
Man, they're smashed. I like.
Once you said they over Wu-Tang, that should have been the end of the discussion, right?
Naughty by Nature is Yoke the Joker.
That's what I meant. Naughty by Nature. Yeah, you saying they better than Naughty by Nature too? Like that boy Tretch?
No, I mean Tretch would be in my top 20. That Naughty by Nature be in my top 20.
But they not top 5 over Phil Mob.
I'm finna hit him with this. I'm finna hit him with it.
No, not.
Like, I can still listen to this song, and I ain't heard it in a minute.
Oh, he's snapping on this song. I know he snapped the whole. Who
is it?
This was
Where the shit?
Nobody
Look at it. Where the shit? Joke the Joker.
I don't know what.
He's snapping on here.
Here you go.
The reason I called you pussy, cause you're all what you eat. Think it's a little closer to the center of a blow pop. Don't speak when I am talking, this is my fucking show. How dare you even try me, don't you know you be fucking wild? You smile on backstage, doing your mother dogging style. I'm wild, raw, whore, still suave. Check out the style that I so simulated sounds from a stocky.
Cut it,
never seen.
Man, I don't know that smoke, bro.
But you better cut it. But yeah, man, see, they not messing with none of that, Kofi. Ain't there a song you can play gonna top that one. Not near song. Put my
That's outdated, dog. That's outdated there, man.
Put my Mississippi voice on for you. Not near song.
Not now, nutter. Nobody say that now, nutter. Like you say that now.
Y'all heard Kofi feelings.
Look, Kofi got his hand on his head. He like,
he got his hand on his head. He got his phone out. He trying to find a song.
I told
you.
He
trying to find a song right now.
Kofi talking about some. And now you can say it pissed me off. Now look at him.
He trying to find this song though.
Man, listen, them boys ain't got one. Them boys ain't got one.
Top 5.
Your mic muted, Kofi.
I love you, my brother.
Y'all tripping.
I love you, my brother, but you wrong.
He put Phil Mob in the top 5.
He in my top 5, dog. So you don't got an issue with the rest. You ain't got an issue with the rest of the people on the list. You just got an issue.
I love
with
everybody. Listen, 8Ball MJG, top caliber 5. UGK, top caliber 5. Who else you said? Outkast, top quality 5.
Ghetto Boys,
top quality 5. Like them 4, bro, ain't nothing touching them. I can't refute none of those, right? Because I listen to all of them and they all hard and they all on that level. But when you threw Goody Mob in there, you just crumbled the whole.
Nah, Phil Mob.
Bad. You threw Phil Mob in there. When you threw Phil Mob in there, you should have said Goody Mob instead of Phil Mob.
Listen, bro, DFC better than Phil.
DFC.
Yes.
Talking about the Dub shit.
No, DFC from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Man, they all right. Trash. Bro, don't do it. You cursing now. You cursing. They is trash.
I agree with that.
They trash.
They don't have more hits.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
Who would listen to Insane in the Membrane? Who would listen to that, bro?
Oliver.
A lot of people.
That was trash. And that's the only song that I can remember. Insane in the Membrane. That's it. And that's what trash. And the rest of that stuff, I couldn't give it. Even What's the other boy? What's the black guy that was on there? He was the only one that gave him a lit hope. He was the only one gave him a lit hope, but they were trash to me. I ain't never liked Cypress Hill. Never liked him.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I really want bumping that West Coast stuff like that. Like not all of it.
Yeah.
Especially that cause they from Northern California up there by E40, right?
I don't know what part of
who take you out
California
there? Where them niggas from, man?
Shit, I don't know.
I don't really like them up there though. That Oakland vibe. I don't like that.
Southgate. I don't even know where that's at. Southgate.
You don't like Oakland? You don't like Oakland rappers?
Nah, bro. Like
I better than Phil.
Real
you don't like Spice One. You don't like Spice One.
Okay, I'll take that back. Spice One.
You don't like short. You don't like short dog.
Yeah, too short.
So
E40.
No, I don't like E40 like that.
What?
I ain't gonna hold you.
I don't.
I can't listen to too much E40.
I can't.
Drew Down. What about Drew Down?
He ain't really got nothing like that.
What about the Loonies? The Loonies.
I got 5 on it.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's it.
God damn. Y'all is tripping.
I ain't gonna lie though, like, cause E40 man, when he be playing around with his voice and like this the lingo too, like I don't really like.
I'm gonna call bias because people be saying Silk be off beat, but nobody says nothing about E40.
Man,
Yeah,
I like E40 as a person though. I mean, I've seen his
Y'all-
interviews. He seemed like a cool cat, but
40 water.
The old
40
E40.
water, man.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
the lingo hard to me, but I just can't listen to too much of his music.
Yeah, I just can't, man. I can't. It's me though. I ain't saying. I'm just saying this is just me personally. I know E40 the shit. And,
Yeah, he a legend.
Yeah, he a legend, bro. Like I ain't taking nothing from that. Like and like his lingo started a whole movement. Like
Yeah.
so, I'm very privy to it. I'm just saying it ain't for me. That's all.
They better than Theo Mob.
The Lynch Mob? Come on, now.
That is Cube. Cube was holding the ship tight.
Yeah, that man and Cube is one of my favorite rappers. Cube inspired me to actually start rapping. Ice Cube is he in my top 5.
Yeah, Ice Cube hard.
Yeah, he my top 5. He in my top 5.
Ice Cube hard, man. I can't knock that.
In the Lynch Mob.
You got the hardest diss track.
Gorillas in the Mist.
Salt and Pepper better than Phil Mob.
Bro,
Yeah.
You that what they say you was eating that had you messed up earlier? What was that? You said crawfish? What was that? I think it's still got you messed up.
Yeah, I definitely listen to Salt and Pepper.
He said, "Bring on that water, man." Shit.
Oh man.
Oh, y'all tripping.
Bars.
Y'all tripping, man.
I ain't even hear 3-6 Mafia in your
They in there, you know. They in there, you know. I just was giving my top 5. I mean, but they in there. You know
everybody. All right, so let's go to Sutek. What's your top 5, Sutek?
Rap group. Just rap group.
3-6 off top. UGK, 8Ball and MJG. What's that? 3? Shit, it's gonna be somebody I forget too. Watch. I don't know, man. What 3-6 Outkast, so that's 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I need one more. Who I be bumping?
Groups.
I might have to say the Locks.
Okay.
It's between the Locks and the Dog Pound.
Nigga, Loonies is better than motherfucking Phil Mob.
Bro, you tripping.
My top 5 in no particular order: UGK, Outkast, Ghetto Boys, NWA. I went too motherfucking fast. I said UGK, Outkast. I'm gonna go Goody Mob on my fifth one.
Goody Mob.
Yeah.
Goody Mob. I can't agree. I mean, y'all all got some nice stuff.
It's soft like a motherfucker though.
Who?
My shit soft like a motherfucker.
Yeah, our shit definitely South dominated.
Mm-hmm. I think all mine was South. All mine was South.
Boys, it's definitely some Southern boys. Let's see.
Yeah.
Mine, definitely LOX.
Yeah.
Definitely UGK. Definitely Outkast. I'm gonna say the Hot Boys, man, because
I was gonna say Hot Boys.
That was my era, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was born in '88, so you know when I'm coming up, I'm listening to them niggas because they not that much older than me. You feel me? So it was like, hey, some young cats out here making noise. Damn, that fifth one always hard. Because I wasn't really listening to Wu-Tang until I got older. I want to say Wu-Tang, but I really like the groups I named. I was listening. I'll just say Wu-Tang just for that fifth one. Just for that fifth one. Because like even though I didn't say Ghetto Boys, like I wasn't listening to Ghetto Boys like that when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't say them. But most of the groups I named, I was listening to.
Look what Chave would say, bro. He don't follow direction. That's why we be arguing, bro. Groups. That's why we be arguing for 4 days. Follow no directions, bro.
Yeah, he only named one group.
Oh shit.
And look, and still in that, he got 0 and ain't got Pac up there.
Hey man, he ain't gotta have Pac in his shit. Hey,
yeah, if you got Biggie, I don't expect you to have Pac.
Right, he going with the more lyrical side.
Yeah, if you got Biggie, I don't expect you to have Pac.
So you trying to say Pac ain't got bars, Sute?
Yeah, I was about to step on some.
Pac ain't got no bars.
I know. Don't say
that. You was a crack baby. You was a crack baby, and when he put out that song, Brenda had a baby, and she threw that baby in the garbage. She threw the crack baby in the garbage. You been in your feelings ever since about 2 months.
That's why I've been hating on. He ain't got no bars, man. He got relatable music,
bruh.
Yeah, man. Pac got bars, man.
Pac got bars, dog.
My definition of bars is different than y'all. I'm talking about lyrical ability. Lyrical wordsmith. Pac be done with a verse in 30 seconds. Like you ain't no lyric. Like you can't expect no lyrics to come out of that.
Is Jay-Z one? Is Jay-Z a lyricist?
Yeah.
So I just watched the interview where because you said 30 minutes for Pac.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I just watched the interview where Freeway was saying Jay-Z was sitting there mumbling for like 10 minutes, then went in there and dropped his whole verse. Like the time that you take to create the verse don't make you a lyricist or not. Because it's certain people that say it took them 2 or 3 days to write certain bars, but it was the hardest bars they ever wrote. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think the time doesn't equate to if your shit gonna be hard or not. It's when you get in there and lay whatever the fuck you took or however long it took you. When you get in there and lay that down on the wax, it better be hard, especially with who you with on the track.
Who put the East Siders up there, bro?
I ain't mad at it.
They cribs. You know you got to go with some. They cribs.
Right, and DPG, bro. He went straight game.
Dog Pound was a close second for my 5th place, so I ain't mad at that either.
Yeah, I ain't mad at Dog Pound either. I love Dog Pound.
Dog Pound was hot.
Yeah, but if you writing verses that quick, you ain't saying no. You ain't got no profound lyrics, no bars, no profound bars, or no wordplay in that.
We're talking about artists here. Right? So somebody could paint a picture that's
good in
take 2 years, or it could take 20 minutes, but it's all about how we appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I'm talking about lyrics. If we talking about just good artistry, yeah, he makes relatable music. And that's why people love Pac so much, because he makes relatable music. And now on the flip side, you got Big, who ain't making relatable music. He just putting words together in a crazy manner. So I like that. It's more of a challenge to me to put them words together like a lyricist would do than just to write some relatable music.
So you saying lyricist, in order to be a lyricist, you have to put in more time to write the bars. To be
you gotta put more thought into your bars at least. Some people it might just come naturally quick, but not as quick as Pac. Somebody he be writing though. You know, I remember wrote 4 songs before everybody else done with a verse. Like, nah,
Lil Wayne work ethic was like that the same way. Going to studio, living in the studio. Pac believed in putting in, in a studio and creating 3-4 songs a night. This every night. So he said that it's no luxury of going in there and staying and working on a song, one song all night. Boom, put a song in, get it out the way, snap in and do another. You know what I'm saying? Utilize as much time in the studio as possible. If your company is booking studio time for 10 hours, so you're going to stay in a studio that they book and spending hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars on according to where you're going to, and you in there, you're going to record one song? No, he believed in going in there, not playing, pull the beat up. Okay, shoot, let's record it, boom. They can mix it, do whatever they gotta do later. Just move on. Let's go to the next song. Put in the next song. That's why he had so much, so much music. Lil Wayne was the same way. Lil Wayne had so much music and put out so much music where people saying that they feel like it was the same thing they said about Pac. Feel like that he was oversaturating, you know what I'm saying?
But that was a different era when you had the book studio time and shit like that. Like they ain't got to do that no more. You can make your own
still going to big studios. Most of the people now, when you talk about studios in Atlanta, you hear people talk about Patchwork and you hear people talk about Stankonia. People still going to these, utilizing these big studios. And even if they go and do pre-record, what they call pre-production. People got studios or small studios in their house where they do the pre-production where, they just get the body of the music, the structure of the music together, may do some simple record and then go to these big studios with these big engineers, and go in and, and lay the full body of the song.
The engineer do.
People still use it, but they use it a lot less. Because like you can do all that stuff from your laptop nowadays.
Yeah, you can.
You really could do that shit back then. Because I was listening to Ghetto Boys, their little podcast, and they was like P&M recorded them songs. Like what's the UGK song you got? Break 'em Off something. They recorded that in the bathroom. You can't tell no difference. So really, you didn't need that back then, but we got laptops and the software and all that shit now.
And they might have had people. They might have had access to people. It's all about a good engineer. It's about a person coming in there and understanding how to arrange the song. Not only how to arrange the song, but how to arrange the vocals, place the vocals, how to mix the vocals down, and master the song. Shit, you go out right now. You can go outside right now and record a song outside. If you got a good engineer, that shit gonna come out right. You got a good engineer and you got a good mic. Right now, when I'm saying going outside, they making these mics. They building these things that go over top of these mics. Well, you can go outside and isolate most of the noise in the background. So if you got a good engineer, man, shit, you good. And that's where the money is. If I was to ever just say, hey, I'm gonna take music full-fledged, I want to make a career out of this, I want to make a lot of money. Shoot, I'll be an engineer. I'll go to Full Sail. I go to Full Sail in Atlanta, go down there and go to school for 2.5 years, get, you know, and get all the education I need for us on the music side. Come back and start making some money. I'll be a traveling engineer wherever they need an engineer at. Where I will go. You want out? You book me here, book me there. I wouldn't be in one place. I mean, engineers make a lot of money, man.
Yeah, that and the people that's shooting music videos.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So shoot, that's where I would go. Damn, trying to rap and produce and be a producer. Shit. Let me be behind the music. Let me be your engineer. You know, let me be the
So let me ask you this. What's the difference between a producer and an engineer?
I mean, producer can only do so much when it comes to a producer can produce the music for as he can arrange the song or the structure by producing the beat. Okay, boom, I'm gonna put together these instruments. I'm gonna use this certain sound, for this. I'm to break the song down to go in something else. I'm gonna do this. I can record on whatever software. A lot of right now they're using Pro Tools. That's the main standard which that most producers are using right now. Record the vocals. I can mix the vocals down. I can mix the music. The music down. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to that quality sound, you want somebody to come in and engineer it and master. Mixing and mastering is mixing and mastering is two different things. I can mix a song down where it sounds good, and I play it for you. It sounds good, but if you want that quality sound, you have to have your stuff mastered. You have to.
What are they doing though with the master? Like, what is
it's the different sounds. See, I can't do it, so I never tell nobody, hey, give me your music now. If they want something, like I got mixing monitor, I know how to take and adjust the levels and the volumes and on certain instruments. I break the instruments up into different sections and mix them down as the best way as possible. But if you want that quality sound, like most people, like when like if you hear a sound, let's just say he mentioned 3 6 Mafia. So 3 6 Mafia, if you listen to their sounds and you see how, let's just say you may listen and say, but damn, the drops in their music hit a certain way. Their drums are hitting harder than anything else. You can give a engineer, those who master, you can give them that template. Okay, I want my sound or my quality to be based off the quality of this, and it's just all about the instruments. It's how to take those instruments and give those sounds the best quality as possible. Because when you send stuff, like if I was to do when I do music and I send somebody music, I send it in a WAV file, an MP3. But if I'm sending it to somebody that say, hey, look, I'm going to take this music and I'm going to master this music, I have to send it to them in another file. And that file has each instrument separated. Those instruments are separated, and they take those instruments and they do. I'm saying, I'm not a master. I just know a little. I don't know how to master music, but I've been dealing with music for so long, and I had some stuff mastered in the past, and talk to people who know how to master. Like I know 2 people right now who's certified to master. One of the guys.
What is it you doing, Kofi? Is you?
I know I produce, and you can mix music. I know how to mix music down. Like if I send you something, I mix it down. You can say, okay, well, shit, this shit sound good. Like I just sent my cousin something, and we listened to it in his studio, and I mixed it down. The shit sound good, but it's still not a quality. Like I can't, like you have to understand it. Like if I play something in the studio on some studio monitors, it may sound good in the studio, but then if I take it and I put it in my car, the sound may sound different than what it sounded in the studio. So it's about sound quality. It's about how you can take those sounds and make and bring those sounds out to the best quality you can. And then some things, like I may want, like certain programs that we use, you know what I'm saying? The drums may not hit that hard. So it's certain things that they may be able to do.
Like what though? Like, is it certain software that you need to do it? Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, what makes an engineer so exclusive? Like, is it that they can hear good and like,
yes, they got
or
the
do they
hearing.
got tools?
Yeah, they
that-
got the tools, right? They got
So,
they got.
so I can be an engineer.
Yeah, if you go to
Because they
school and
is.
learn how to use those tools that you yeah.
It's like it sound like it sound like you're saying like they enhancing the sound quality in some
they
form.
are.
They're like polishing it off.
That's
Yeah,
that's
they
their job.
equalizing, compressing sounds.
Yes,
all
that's how it is. Because see, like I'm saying, you can listen to it in the studio, boom, it's sounding good. You listen to it in the car, it's sounding different. You listen to them through headphones, they're sounding different. The car might sound like trash, the studio might sound good, the headphones may sound okay, but not top tier. So it's
Now,
about
what makes it all? That's what I'm saying. So, like, you just named 3 different things.
mastering. That's
Shouldn't
what
it be like some type of software that can balance?
Pull that shit
all
up.
that?
well, you ain't well if
Pull that shit up.
if you looking for just take it now they have created something where if you right now I'm finna use something, but it's not going. This is something I'm going to use, but this is nothing I'm going to use for now on. Now they done created some software that is trying to make the engineer job obsolete, but it's not doing
Right.
good.
Because
Like
it don't sound like they proprietary. It sounds like you just can create some software that can balance all those sounds over
That's-
those different
But that's not what the engineer is just technically doing. It's certain like he's talking about compressing music. It's so many different things.
This thing right here, look. It say mastering is the final step of audio post-production. The purpose of mastering is to balance the sonic elements of a stereo mix and optimize playback across all system and media formats.
Exactly.
So that's the big thing I think right there too. The media formats.
I feel like
And,
it should be some software. I feel like it should be some software that can.
It
fucking
is.
balance
9 times out of 10 what it sounds like. You gotta
Yeah,
have a specific type. So
Yeah, but-
traditionally, mastering is done using tools like equalization, compression, limiting, and stereo enhancement.
Mhm. And they have a program now that I got turned on to. It's $100 for the year, and you use this program. And and all you got to do is take it, download your file into this software, and this software in about maybe 2 to 3 minutes, it done mastered the song.
Yeah.
And you can play it back, but still, I want somebody, and I'm gonna use it because the shit sound fucking good. And I'm taking it, I'm putting it in these different things. I'm going to put it in the car. I'm putting it through the headphones, and the quality of the music and the enhancement of the music does not change from the different places that I'm placing the music in. But it's still, I want somebody that's hands-on too, that actually know what they're doing, punching buttons, utilizing certain things, because I know what it takes to go into mixing, because I do it myself. I know how to mix, but I don't know how to master. That's 2 different things. I can't make it sound sonically or enhance it sonically throughout the headphones, throughout playing it in my car, or playing it through a stereo.
Software then, don't you?
Right. But you make
That's why it's saying it focuses on formats and shit, because the different formats, I'm assuming, is gonna change the quality.
Yeah, it's gonna change the quality. It's gonna change the quality. I don't give a fuck how good I mix it down, but so they got a program to do that, but they got programs that are a program that utilize all these different functions to enhance certain things in music, to make music sound a certain way, you know what I'm saying, or to give it that push, like when it comes to your drums, how your drums hit, how your drops or your bass line hit, because when you put the song of constructing a song, you got drums, you got snares, you got tweeters or hi-hats, you got a bass line, you got instrumentations, you got You got certain sounds or sound effects. You got certain drops. You know what I'm saying? Like most time when you're constructing the beat, you know, okay, this is the chorus. This is the chorus. This is the verse. I got these type of instruments playing, or this instrument playing for the chorus. The song breaks down like this when a verse comes. The song breaks down like this when such and such is going on. So again, it consists of drums, and I want my drums to hit a certain type of way. And I know me using an MPC, because that's what a lot of people are on, the MPC ones, the MPC's tools. You know what I'm saying? Keyboards, it used to be people used the Rolands and the Tritons used to be what it is. Now, as long as you got any type of MIDI function keyboard that has sounds on, that has, because they got programs that you can download songs. Like I got a keyboard, a Keylab keyboard now, a 61 key Keylab keyboard, and I got over 5,000 sounds that I have paid for and have downloaded into just the keyboard that I can use and play different chords and different keys and pull up different sounds from different instruments. You know what I'm saying, on there, and play certain things. So the body again is just drums, snares, hi-hats, tweeters, a bass line, certain instruments, you know what I'm saying, on top of that. That's just all it is. And then even with those sounds, I can't make my sounds or I can't make my drops or my drums sound a certain type of way, because when you go to certain drum patterns, they're going to give you this. So I want to send it to an engineer, and I say, I want my drums, I want my drops to sound as close to the 3-6 Mafia drums, because now these producers are coming up with their own drum kits. You know what I'm saying? So when you buy their own drum, even they're coming up with their own sound kits. So now when you go, because they have figured out a way on how, like, if I wanted something from the 808 Mafia, 808 Mafia, when you listen to their drops and their bass line, or even their drums hit harder. Like I want my drums to hit harder. I'm going to send it to an engineer, and I'm going to tell them, hey, look at these songs right here. And this is how close I want my production, the quality of my production to sound exactly like the 808 Mafia songs that I'm giving you. And they'll enhance that at my drops a certain way. They'll enhance my drums to hit harder than normally than what I
you need that big ass, that 88 keyboard, that big ass board with all them knobs on it.
That's a mixer.
So none of the stuff you be putting on Facebook, none of that stuff be mastered, because that shit be sounding crisp.
I mix my music down. That's it. I can mix it. That's what I'm saying.
That shit sound damn near like it's mastered and shit already, because that shit be. I be hearing it, like when I listen to that shit, I have my big headphones on. Sometimes I just be working and shit, and I'll be like, man, this whole sound good than a mother. This sound like it should be on a nigga album already with a nigga rapping on it.
Yeah,
that should be fun.
Mixing is just messing with the individual levels of each sound.
Yep.
And that nigga be sounding A1.
Yeah, and you don't want the sounds to overlap over each other. You don't want one sound to be canceling out another sound. So you, like he said, you just playing with the individual levels of each instrumental track. And I always record. You can record your instruments on one track if you want to. I don't do that shit, but a lot of people don't do that. I can record them on every single track. My drums, like some people record their drums, their snares, their bass line, their hi-hats all on one track. I record mine all on.
You can't isolate nothing when you do that.
Right,
isolated. Let me turn up the drum. You can't do that no more.
Yep, sure can't. So
I used to fucking around and record myself and mix my shit.
Yeah, you said you was on that Fruit Loops once.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fruit Loops, mixed crab, all that.
Yeah, I fooled with Fruit Loops in the 90s, man. That's what it was. I mean, that was really all you had was at that time was Fruit Loops. That's what everybody was doing their beats on. You know, we were just talking about this for about a month ago. You know, I was telling you about old boy from 808 Mafia, a Sizzle that used to produce for Waka Flocka. You know what I'm saying? And he still used Fruit Loops. You know what I'm saying? He don't use, but you know, and he used these gaming laptops. You know, most people they don't went to the MacBooks and
yeah, he got the $1,500 laptop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gaming laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's what he used to produce with, because at one point in time, Fruit Loops wasn't and I don't think they still. I think they are now, but I know at one time they wasn't. Fruit Loops wasn't compatible with the Mac, with the Mac software. So, and I don't even think they still are. That I'm thinking about it. I think somebody told me they were, but I know a while back that they wasn't. They wasn't. That software wasn't compatible with the MacBooks. So that's why he stayed with on the MPC, but he used those high quality gaming computers, you know what I'm saying, to produce with. He still used Fruit Loops, and then he was explaining why he was why he was still using Fruit Loops. A lot of people don't use Fruit Loops, but you know, to make their beats on it and shit. It's so simple though. It's easy. You don't even honestly, you can really do that with any program that you get nowadays. But a lot of people that use Fruit Loops, you can make them using your keys. You don't have to have all this other type of shit. As long as you got that program, you can use your keys to make the beats with, and then you can do something, and then you can cut and paste all your shit in there, man. Fruit Loops was just easy to use. I could put a beat together and goddamn shit 5 minutes using Fruit Loops, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. But like I said, that was the only thing that they were using. They come out with Reason and with acid that was garbage, and some other thing. But right now the standard, the standard, I ain't gonna say the standards is all type of stuff right now. I know a lot of people are using the MPC software, because a lot of people are using the MPC ones, the MPC2 software. A lot of people using Studio One, people recording in Pro Tools, people recording in Reasons, recording in Studio One as well. It's a few other programs, but the top is Pro Tools recording, MPC softwares, you know what I'm saying, and Fruit Loops, but they don't call it Fruit Loops no more. What they call it now, it's Fruit Loops, but I think it's
FL Studios or some shit.
Yeah, FL Studios. They don't call it Fruit. It's still Fruit Loops. That's what it is, but it's just, I guess, a more professional name. It's FL Studios. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I ain't put it right there. FL Studios is all I need. Okay, yeah, ain't nothing wrong with it, dog. Ain't nothing wrong with it. However you can use. Now, we never bought Fruit Loops, bro. We always stole that shit.
That's how I got that. They gave me the disc, man. You put it in, get the code, so you can be really, really in the mix.
Yeah, we never bought that shit. We always stole it. And then when that version run out, we can't use it no more. We always find a way to get the new version, and we'll use that mug until it run out, man. And it might be about 2 years before we don't have access no more, because they was always updating the software and the programs and stuff to it. So once they updated the software and stuff on it, you can no longer use. You have to have another key option, so you had to buy it. But we always stole it, bro. I ain't never paid for Fruit Loops. Never paid for it. Joe, like, but it's still it's still kind of high.
Y'all on here live admitting to piracy.
Of course. So you said you didn't commit piracy. Yeah? Play the tape.
But they gotta prove it. And then, bro, this was in the 90s. This was in the 90s. This was 90. I'm gonna tell you,
you better check your state for a second.
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations?
Yeah.
Go be crazy.
I'm just being honest, man. Shoot, that been a long time ago, man. Early 90s.
You in the Commonwealth state, Che, but they might come get you still.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't incriminating myself.
I'm lying, y'all. I'm lying. The listener, I'm lying. I did not steal Fruit Loops. I paid the full price for Fruit Loops.
There you go, Kobe. That's how you fix that. Play the rest of the tape.
I thought y'all talking about the cereal.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. These boys on here hip to the game, man.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to get the Fruit Loops with the marshmallows in it.
Yeah, we was still in that. You gonna say we stole that.
Y'all wasn't stealing nothing.
Cereal, huh?
That's it. Taking you hungry right here, man. We trying to have breakfast. That's it.
Yeah, use the demo version, but yeah.
What Zion say?
He used the demo version. Yeah, they did have, but I think you can only do so much with the demo version. You can.
It's like Zoom.
You couldn't loop. You can't loop shit with that. You can't download. You can't really do much. You just make some regular ass beats.
How you know, Chave? You ain't never did a song in your life, nigga.
You a lie? You don't know what I did, nigga. You don't know about it. You don't know nothing, nigga. But what I tell you, nigga?
I know what you did.
Yeah, nigga. You know what I tell you, nigga. That's all you know.
Nah, I know you tried to help Megan.
You said what? I try to help who? You try to
Don't get it started, please. Don't get it started, bro.
He tried. He tried to antagonize me right now. But he ain't gonna do it because I got my medicine right here. And it's all good. He ain't gonna be able to start that one today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through these people and see what I can do right here.
Demo better than the cheapest version.
I ain't been on Fruit Loops in so long. Fruity Loops. That's what we used to call it. Fruity Loops.
Chavis tried to produce a song with him beating on the motherfucking cafeteria table and put it out.
I taught myself how to do that shit, nigga. Just like I taught myself how to do every other thing, nigga. If I'm interested in some shit, I got some intrinsic motivation towards some shit, nigga. I'm gonna figure it out.
Hold on, say that word again. If you got some who?
Intrinsic motivation.
Okay. When you learn that word?
I ain't do a whole goddamn presentation on that shit.
We got that from the stock market. Intrinsic value.
No, I got it from health psychology. Of course.
We be on them big ass words.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out when he got on that word. That's all.
Yeah, be on them words. I'll tell you. I'll be
whole chapter on, know what I'm saying, in the book that we try to get out, know what I'm saying, specifically speaking on intrinsic and extrinsic value and the part. Okay. I swear I did a whole presentation on it. I swear I did. It may be lost in all.
I don't remember you saying that word, though. I don't remember you saying that word.
I use it all the time, though. I use it all the time. Anybody around here, especially if you're close to me, you're gonna hear it eventually.
I don't think so, bro. I think you
some. All right. You said think, right? You said you think. All right, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, I did say think, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do nothing but respect what you think, what you thought. I can't do nothing but respect that.
I just ain't heard it, man. That's all I'm saying. I ain't trying to downplay your vocabulary.
I know you're not doing that. I know that.
Yeah.
But I use it. Because I recognize who got it and who don't. We all got it. You know what I'm saying? Need it.
Well, intrinsically speaking, all these fools is out. Intrinsically speaking, bro. Intrinsically reaching.
We intrinsically reaching. From an inner from internal places. That's what we're reaching from, is what he's trying to say, huh?
Yeah.
Y'all get the word different, wrong.
See, everything is everything. Got an immigrant top 5. He tried to put the field bob in that shit. Make Kobe feel good.
Man, why you call that man all like that, man? Why you gotta call that man an immigrant, man?
He put that shit in there. He's the one who said it. I didn't say that. He said that.
I think he got an immigrant top 5.
Bruh, that nigga's crazy.
We got Cool Herc in them.
He got Sean Paul on there. And who else?
Sean Paul.
Beanie Man.
That bro on some hard drugs, man.
What everything from? What ain't he out that way? Ain't he out in the Cali way?
Nah, that nigga in the islands, bro.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He got Sizzler on this top 5. That boy got Sizzler on there. What's that other nigga name?
Sizzler hard though.
He did low key. Nigga.
Oh boy, hard too.
Hey, say a song. Give me a song, Sizzler. I don't know. I ain't gonna. I can't
You just gotta put it in your shit. That nigga, I be having my my playlist on the reggae, and that boy be popping him.
Yeah, he hard. I used to listen to him. I used to listen to his music, Sizzler music.
What's this dude? I be forgetting the boy's name. I just be watching their
Y'all
name.
can't give me a song, bro.
I can't remember.
Now I'm talking about
head. He's Jamaican, man.
Hold on, I got
It's Jamaican music. He hard.
Oh,
He
okay.
hard.
You don't even know what they be saying. You just be vibing. I don't even know what that boy talking about. I just be that hard, nigga.
I be vibing to the music. I ain't gonna lie.
I just want to see the video, bro.
Hold on, I'm trying to find a song.
Nah, you ain't got to, bro. You ain't got to. We got a video.
Sizzler. I know he was on the song.
I know they all on that song with DJ Khaled. All them boys on that one song, that DJ Khaled album. He got all them boys on that one track, kid. It's fire. What's this song called? Hold on.
Man, I wish I had.
Buju Banton on there. It's called
Vibes Cartel. That nigga ain't on there.
Is that?
Bruh.
Yeah, I knew I knew him from somewhere. He was on the song with Styles P called Fire and Pain. That's how the first time I heard of him.
So he had to be on the lock shit for you to know.
Yeah, you know. That top 5 list.
You're a locking ass nigga. All right, I got you.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the damn album.
Jada Kiss.
Did they kiss the gang goodbye? Yeah, we ain't hate.
Whole new album out. Solo.
I ain't heard it. What's the name of it? What's the name of it?
Man, I can't tell you the name of it.
It's a song I heard on the
Hold
radio.
on, yes, I can. I ain't like y'all. I got the goddamn. I can tell you. I got it right here. Jada Kiss, motherfucking search.
Jada Kiss, the only person that flamed up 50.
Nah, he did get on it. He got on that boy. Real talk. He's
that shit.
2 years old, nigga. Ignatius.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I remember the CD.
You ain't got that shit.
It was cool, man. I mean, it was all right to me. It wasn't his best work. Yeah, it wasn't his best, but yeah, I checked it out.
I agree with you.
What's that?
Jada Kiss project he put out a while back here. What's the name of it again, Sean? I forgot the name of it. I checked it out.
Ignatius or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half ago somewhere.
Yeah, let's just call it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's 2 years old.
Ignatius.
Oh damn, I ain't even hit to that.
Yeah.
2020.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. It's cool. Like I'm saying, it's just when you listen to it, you gonna agree with us and say it's you rocking with it, but it's not his best work. It's not none of the previous albums that he put out.
He was saying he got to do one more album and then he'd be off that label, off his contract. So I think he said he got one more album left.
With Def Jam?
Yep.
And he been with them a long time.
I feel like boys be doing that, man. They just put out bullshit albums to get out of them goddamn contract. That's why we get that.
Yeah, Rick Ross did it, man. He did it so smooth though, man. Like Rick Ross a beast, bro. Like he did his shit so smooth. Cause if you notice, he was dropping an album every year. After that Port of Miami,
he was.
I think he was because he was on Slip and Slide in the beginning.
Yeah, that's where he was. It was
and
Slip
then
and Slide.
like he had like a 5-album deal or some shit, but like he banged them out, and they was all classics.
Yeah.
But some people do it the opposite way though. Some people had them deals. That first album would be hot, and that next one would be trash, and then they just get stuck. The rap game messed up, man.
It'd be so hard to come behind that first one after you done put some smash shit out on that first album. That should be hard to come behind.
Yeah, the rap game really messed up, man. Like, especially when you join the major labels, because basically all they doing is loaning you money.
Yep.
At a high ass interest rate though, like, so for example, like somebody do like what they call them 80-20 deals. Is that what they call the
360 deals? The 360
yeah,
deals?
like
you fucked it. I would never ever do something like that, because when you do a 360 deal, like a lot of people, this how they make their money. This how the rappers make their money. If they sign to a record label, a big record label, a record label give them an advancement, right? And that's not money that's free, even though they might lose on their investment, because some people do lose on their investment. I offer you $900,000. I give you an advance for $900,000. I guarantee you in this contract, we're gonna give you $4 or $5 million and with a 5 record deal contract. Each advance may go up. You know, it may go up determined by what your album, your first album, second album does. But let's say you don't do that good, you get this $900,000, and then once you get this $900,000, now they give you an advance. Then now they open up a budget. They open up a budget. Just say they open up a budget for $600,000-$700,000. This budget, I don't even think they open these budgets up no more, because the video game ain't now. Motherfuckers can shoot their own videos now, but they open up the budgets just for marketing, for promotional
features too. Features too.
Yeah, and features, right? So now all you got is $900,000. Majority of the individuals, what they gonna do? They gonna go get the starter kit for to be a rapper. Now you got the money. You got to go get you a nice car. You got to go get you a couple of fucking chains. You know, you go spend $150. You go drop $150,000 on a chain or two, $150,000 on a chain and a charm. Shit, you go pay. Let's say you cash out. You go buy you a Bentley Spur, a Maybach, or whatever. You spending between $150,000 to $250,000 on the car. So you already depleted out of the $900,000. You already depleted. You know what I'm saying? At least $400,000. So all you got is $500,000 left. But you got what you gonna do with this other $500,000? You got to live off this $500,000. So now you finna go. You may not go buy nothing. You might go rent. You might go rent a mansion. You might go stay in one of these, what they call them damn places that sit up high. What they call them?
Condo.
Them big ass condos and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where you paying $3,000, $4,000 a month for rent.
It's the kicker though. That $900,000, they owe that back.
Right. They got to recoup back on that. That's so when
they don't got to recoup it. I'm talking about, like, say if I'm the label and you the artist.
Yeah, that's recoup.
I give you $900,000. You owe me that $900,000.
Right.
That's recoup.
Right. They got to recoup it. So what you make off your record
you got to
sale,
repay it. Now, I'm recouping, you paying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The company, I have to recoup my investment. I got to get my money back.
Right,
So
I do. I'm the label. I'm the
right,
label to the artist.
right.
I got to get my money back.
Right,
if I
right.
give you 900,000, you owe me 900,000.
Right, exactly.
But listen, no, this how you gonna get the 900,000 back off
By
your
selling-
album sales?
Off your album sales. That's
Okay,
why
now listen, though, this the kicker. This is what I want you to get to. Fuck how they spend it. Let's talk about how they owe it, because this how they get in debt. Say your album flop,
Yeah, you
still owe that 900,000.
Right. That's what I said. I said earlier, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they don't make their investment back. They don't make their investment back because it's determined by the sale. That's why we're going with when we say the 360 deal. If you sign a 360 deal, a lot of the artists that makes their money, they make their money off of features. They make their money off of shows and touring. That's how they able to stay afloat because once they get the money, the
and merch,
yeah, because now the record label not paying them no more. They don't get no money from the record. Once they get the advance, even with them selling. Let's say if they sell 400,000 copies, and whatever they charge for the streaming now, because it's different, because it used to be a certain amount or a certain points when it came to the CDs and when it came to the tape. So now everything is a streaming platform. So now it all depends of how it depends on how much the song streams or the album streams determine how much the record company get paid every month. And let's just say that they do well on the streaming and they make their money. The company, before you make any money off the streaming, the company going to get its investment back. So you might break even, or the company may not even recoup all of their money back from the advancement money that they gave them. So where you got to get the money at? They got to get out there and tour. They got to get out there and do shows. But when you in the 360 deal,
they taking that money too.
They taking that money too in the 360 deal. They take merch. The record company gets a percentage of that. You get booked for a show, they get a percentage of that. You get invited on a tour, or you do your own tour, they get a percentage of that. You feature, they get a percentage of that. They get everything that you are able to do to bring in money. The company is going to get that. So that's why a lot of people don't sign the 360 deals.
And that's not only with 360 deals. That's any major label deal. That's any major label deal. Because listen, when you partner with somebody, it's based off a percentage. 360, they getting a big chunk of that percentage. But you could go in with an 80-20 where they get 80%, you get 20%. You know, but when you're independent, you get 100%.
Yeah, because you investing in your own self. You paying for everything out of your own pocket,
minus the distribution.
Yep.
Yeah. So anytime you partner with them labels, man, you coming up off that bread.
But yeah, they ain't getting no part of your merch and your show money and all that unless you win a 360 deal.
Yeah,
they can get a part of it if it's in the contract. Because listen, just because it ain't a 360 deal don't mean they ain't getting a piece of it. Trust me. They acting like, listen, if they give you an advance, you're going to have to get out there and get that back. And they getting a piece of that too. Because listen, they own everything. They own the rights to your music. Like, you can't even, that's why motherfuckers do a song with another person, the label got to clear it. You can't clear it.
Yeah, you're right.
The label has to clear it. That ain't got nothing to do with a 360 deal.
Yeah, that part. What you saying? Yeah, they have the label
They
have
own your
label
ass.
have to clear it. Yeah, they have to clear it.
They got to be like, oh yeah, we like this guy. You can make music with him. That ain't even.
But if you smart, you can do like Starlito did. You know, Starlito used to call himself what? All Star. So he changed his name because of that very same thing that you're talking about.
A lot of niggas be doing that.
Cleared up under this name because he is contractually obligated to this record company. You know, he has done business, so he's obligated to these certain things. So they dictate certain things on because at one,
they own, you know, like you said, they own you. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, I'm looking at it. They actually own your fucking name. They actually trademark you. You can't even, because you know that they trademark your own name. So they own your name. They own your music. Because I think you can only get, I think it's after 20 years, it's an open window where you can get your masters back. Where you have to do certain type of paperwork and something that you have to file in order for you to get your masters back. But they only give you a short window of time, you know, to try to get there where you're able to get your masters. And there's been very few people that's been able to buy their masters back or been able to get in a contract with a big record company where they own their own masters. An example of that is Master P with Priority. Another example of that is Baby and Universal Records. Those are record deals, man, that's unheard of. And where it's a reversal, where you saying a 80-20 or a 70-30 split, where the record company getting 70 or 80%, and you only getting 20%. You only getting 50 cents on each, 25% on each sale. They getting the rest of it, but that wasn't the case with Master P and No Limit. That wasn't the case with the Baby. So I think theirs was like a 80-20, No Limit, Master P 80%, them 20%. I think it was the same way that was with Priority, and I think it was the same with the Baby and not the Baby, but Baby Birdman with Universal 80-20, and they own their own master. So they got in and got some great damn deals, man. Well, shit, they own the rights to their music, their names, and they get the highest percentage.
They put it in the contract. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all that shit, all based off how you negotiate it, you know. And they was already, both of them crews, they was already getting money. They was already getting money before the label, so it was easy to go in for them. But
especially when you got something offered, you demand at your own terms, you know what I'm saying? But most average folks, hey, they hot, man. These folks trying to throw all this advance money in front of your face. All you saying, where I sign it? Shit, you go to signing that shit.
Hey, I'll tell y'all who got over on the labels though. Lil Pump. You remember Lil Pump?
Man. What you had, the Gucci Bandana? What was the name of the song? That's on the song I heard. That I know of. Good is a Gucci Bandana, or what the hell was it?
Listen to how he got over though. So look, because when he came out, he was like a teenager. So he signed to the label, but his parent didn't sign off on it. So, but they paid him. They gave him like I think it was like 300,000 or something. No, it might have been $1 million. It was a lot of money. They gave him like a lot of money. So he ended up breaking the contract, but the label couldn't sue him because he was a minor. So he ended up keeping the bag and going and signing somewhere else when he turned 18. And then the label couldn't come back and sue him because when they weren't supposed to be doing business with a minor. You feel me? So that was one sign off on it. Yeah, that's one person that I could say that got over on the labels. And I think they said something about somebody got fired there, of course. But yeah, Lil Pump got over on the label, man.
I ain't heard. That's the one song of his that I heard of that I like. I ain't really just give him no chance on no music, no way. He a little weirdo now. I see him. I used to see him, in the headlines on social, on YouTube, but I don't even see, his name in the headlines no more. He done something or said something stupid, did something stupid. So,
yeah, he got over on the game.
Yeah. But man, I'm finna jump my ass up off here, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all fellas, man.
All right.
I'm about to get off to check out Charles, see what he got going on this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, man, and check that out. Wait, I'm finna I'm finna post up and read for a minute, but I'm gonna holler at y'all.
All right, y'all.
All right.